Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto unseals all the sealed bijuu. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Chiposkippy and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Prologue. Naruto watched as Kurabi and Gaara were absorbed into the Jito Meizo statue. They had fought their hardest, but it was futile as the statue proved to be too strong. As he jumped in the air he got pulled into his mindscape. He walked down the sewer way to the Kyuubi's cage pissed that it wanted to talk. As he stepped in, the feeling of death that was usually present was gone. He stepped up to the cage and the fox spoke. Naruto, all my brothers and sisters have been sealed into that accursed statue. I am willing to be full partners with you to destroy that thing. Stated the fox with a look of honesty on its face. Why, you usually want to destroy me, why do you wish to partner with me now? Asked Naruto, as he stayed on guard for any treacherous intent that the giant fox may let slip. I can't use my power to the fullest without a host and I can't get out anyways. Besides, you can't beat that thing even if you use Sage Mode. But together we can take that statue and make it dust, the fox answered with a look of determination on its face as he held his fist through the bars right in front of Naruto. Alright, let's go, partner. Naruto said as slammed his fist against the Kyuubi's and opened the cage. After a bright flash of light, Naruto was on top of the fox looking down a hallway that read bijuu on it. They walked a short distance going into a massive room that had a spotlight shining on 9 circles that had 1 through 9 on them. In each circle was a bijuu and its host, on their right was Gaara on top of Shukaku and on their left was B on top of Hachibi. As the fox sits on the 9 circle, B raps out. Looks like all the bijuu are here, we'll make the enemy shiver in fear, as we break out of this trap, we will beat them down, so another day we can rap. My rapping sucks. Shut it B, we need to make the introductions. Hachibi says, shutting B up. I am Gaara Subaku 5th Kazukiage, host of the Ichibi no Shukaku. Gaara stated in his drawling voice. I'm the Ichibi, Shukaku. Shukaku yelled in his crazy but serious voice. 1. I am Yujito Nai, host of the Nibi. Yujito announced. I am the Nibi, Matatabi. Matatabi purred. 2. I am Yugura 4th Mizukage, host of the Sanbi. Yugura said. I am the Sanbi, Isobu. Isobu says. 3. I am Raushi, host of the Yanbi. Raushi whispered, making everyone strain their ears to hear him. I am the Yanbi, Son Goku. Howled the large ape. 4. I am Han, host of the Gobi. Han stated in his deep voice. I am the Gobi, Kakuo. Kakuo whinnied the weird horse-like creature. 5. I am Utakata, host of the Rakubi. Utakata lazily said as he just lays there on his bijuu's head. I am the Rakubi, Seiken. Seiken says in a polite voice. 6. I am Fu, host of the Nanabi. Yelled the mint-haired girl with a big grin on her face. I am the Nanabi, Chow Mei. Buzzed the beetle. 7. I am the man that floats like a butterfly and stings like bee, that's me Kurabi, wee. B raps. I am the Hachibi, Jayuki. Jayuki stated the octopus as he rolled its eyes at its host's rap. 8. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Naruto says as he points to himself. I am the Kyuubi, Kurama. Stated the Kyuubi in its rough voice. 9. Now that we have the introductions over with, we need to make a plan. Isobu says, getting nods all around from the others in the room. Well, Naruto and I are the only ones on the outside who can still fight. Kurama stated. Well, even with us as partners, that statue got B, and he has been partners with Jayuki for a lot longer than we have, but I have a plan. My ancestors were the Uzumaki who were all seal masters, if I can unseal all of you then we could beat that statue. Naruto says. Okay, I'm in, but what seal is powerful enough to get us out of here? Shukaku asks as even the bijuu didn't know many seals with that much power. One that has all our power. Son says. Okay, I'll get to work. Naruto says. Naruto jumped off of Kurama's head and gathered chakra in his hands. He burned his seal into the floor, using the numbers he drew out 9 lines that come together into a ring which ended in a 9-line spiral. This alone took him about an hour, and when he finished he jumped back onto Kurama's head. Okay, now this seal will gather all of our chakra to disrupt the chakra of the statue, if we mess up it will do things I don't even want to try to go into. Naruto says as all of the bijuu and hosts glow. The seal lines glow rainbow colors, and Naruto wakes up. Naruto, in the real world, flashes yellow and attained his perfect fox cloak. He makes 9 chakra arms off of his right hand and they merge into the seal design. He his arm back and smashes the statue in the forehead yelling, bijuu seal. Full reverse. The bijuu chakra in the statue was then pulled out and flew into Naruto. A blinding white light appeared and Naruto's vision went black. Ch1 back in the past, Naruto was seeing black for what he felt like was an eternity since he couldn't open his eyes. After a while he felt a weight that he had not known was there be lifted off of him. He heard the chirping of crickets and the smell of a nightly breeze and felt a large object that felt papery in his hands. He opened his eyes to see a shack in the middle of the woods. His memory kicked in as he remembered that shack. It was the one he was supposed to meet Mizuki at when he tried to get him to steal the forbidden scroll when he was 12, the same scroll that he felt in his hands as he looked down. "Holy shit, I'm back in Konoha," Naruto yelled in a preteen voice. "Wait, what happened to my voice?" he asked himself in alarm as he rushed to the window of the shack. He rubbed the dirt and dust off the glass and he stared in horrible shock. He was a kid again and he had the forbidden scroll. Wait, this must be a dream, right? He went to pinch himself, pinches. "Oh shit, this is real, how am I back to that night?" he yells in his old voice as he grew even more confused. Just then his world went black and he woke up in his mindscape. He opened his eyes to see the familiar Sower and saw his older appearance in the water's reflection. He knew the Kurama would know what was going on and so he ran as fast as he could into the room where his bijuu resided. As he ran into the room, it was different. He saw the seal he made to release the rest of the bijuu from the statue and saw the bijuu in their places murmuring to each other. As he walked into the middle of the group, they all go silent as Kurama clears its throat. "Clear his throat, Naruto, the seal that you made absorbed the rest of my siblings' chakra and put it inside you. It also took you back to when you first became a host the day you became a ninja," stated the Nine Tails, matter-of-factly, as the rest of the bijuu nod. "Why, how is that even possible?" yelled a freaked out Naruto as his eyes grew wide. "Well, I'm not too sure. The only idea I can come up with is that when you absorbed our chakra into your own chakra system, it seems to have made a few ripples in the space-time continuum, thus sending you back to the time when you became a genin and first tapped into my chakra," explained the aged fox sagely. "So what about the other Jinchuriki? Do we now have 18 bijuu in this time period?" asked the blonde as he started to calm down. "Our hosts more than likely were rewritten into history not having our chakra, but they still should retain the skills they had gained from us in our actual timeline," Sun explained. "So will they remember what happened like I do?" Naruto asks. "No, since you are the only one that came back to this time, you alone should remember what actually happened in our time. You know, our maker or parent as you would say, the Rikido Sennin, once said that we would come together again. We thought that he meant us becoming the Juubi from that statue, but we realize now that he meant that we would all be in one host." Daiuki rattled on, getting nods from the others. "Okay then, well, sorry that you guys are stuck inside me. I thought that seal was only going to release you from the bonds the statue had on you," Naruto says, looking down guiltily. "It's fine, kid, as long as you stay the way you are, then we have no problem. Said, I feel an evil presence coming, you better hide that scroll," Shukaku says urgently. "Wait, Naruto, when you go back outside, find the Hirshin mark and push chakra into it, you will memorize it for later use," Kurama says as Naruto nods his head and fades out. Naruto opens his eyes and unfurls the scroll, getting to the Hirshin mark. He pushes his chakra into it and it glows as he gets a mental picture of it inside his head. He closes the scroll and puts on a goofy face, waiting for the evil traitor Mizuki to finally come and find him. Iruka, like last time, gets there first though, and Naruto instantly acts surprised. "I'm skipping all the banter and such and getting to the fun part." Naruto glares at Mizuki, flaring his demonic chakra, and yells out, "Touch my sensei and I will rip you to shreds," Naruto says, glowing red from his chakra. He crossed his fingers in his favorite hand sign and yelled multi-shadow clone jutsu. And thousands of pissed-off blondes popped into existence as they all glared at Mizuki, who was cowering in fear. All the Narutos rushed the traitor as they started to beat him into a twitching bloody pulp. The real Naruto then walks over to Iruka, who gives him his headband, saying that he passed. Iruka then passes out and Naruto carries him to the hospital. He ignores the looks he gets from Isarian, although they did unsettle him as he was not used to such treatment anymore from his old villagers, and drops Iruka in his personal room, calling a nurse with the call button. He then leaves and goes to the Hokage's office. As he lands on the building, he hops in through the window and looks straight at Sarutobi and says, "Hey, long time no see, old man." Naruto smiles and remembers that now he could save the old man from Orochimaru. "What do you mean, Naruto? You saw me just earlier when Yak knocked me out?" asked a confused old man as he gave the boy a quizzical stare. That was when it hit him. Naruto had been in his office for at least 2 minutes and had not yelled or anything like he always did in the old man's presence. But the snap of his fingers, Anbu appeared out of the walls and ceiling and got into a circle formation around the boy. "What the hell?" yelled a only half-shocked Naruto. He had stolen the forbidden scroll after all, so he was expecting something like this to happen, since last time it didn't because he had Iruka here with him. "Who are you and where is Naruto Uzumaki?" stated the old man in a hushed growl, letting go of a bit of killer intent. Naruto just stood there in shock. He had expected to be yelled at for stealing the scroll, not basically told that he was not himself. Finally though, he snapped out of his surprise and answered, "What do you mean I am Naruto? Old man, what is in that pipe you're smoking? Can't you see I am Naruto?" asked the blonde as he smiled his foxy smile. No, you are not. The Naruto I know cannot stay quiet for more than a few minutes, and if I had said something like that to my Naruto, he would have screamed about me going blind in my old age, and that I should give him the hat of Hokage since I couldn't see. Now I will ask once more, where is Naruto Uzumaki? Yelled the old man as he stood from his chair and stared evilly at the boy in front of him. Both that well to tell you, then you would need to make these Anbu leave so that I can discuss MSS rank village secrets with you, Gigi. Not to mention that they are about as much of a threat to me as a half-eaten sandwich at least that could make me have food poisoning. Stated the boy as he just stood there without a hint of fear as all the Anbu let loose their killer intent on him and he just stood there as if nothing was happening. What do you mean by that? Asked a curious Cage as he stood his ground. He would not admit it out loud, but he was slightly unnerved by this boy. All 6 Anbu that he had summoned to hold him had released a large amount of Kai at him each, and yet he just stood there. He himself could not even stop the shiver going down his old spine at that much Kai, and it wasn't even aimed at him. Well, simple really, at least it will be if you let me explain. But here, let me demonstrate. Stated the boy as he stood there for a second before jumping into action. In one swift jump kick he sent the bat-faced Anbu into the wall as the Anbu just slid to ground unconscious. As Naruto landed he instantly fell to his knees and rolled, dodging 2 or 3 sword slashes as he went. Naruto jumped up and preformed an uppercut to the boar-faced Anbu, effectively smashing him into and through the roof of the old man's office. Next came the cat-faced Anbu as he could tell by the figure, slashed downwards at the boy with her tanto. Naruto focused his wind chakra into his hand as he met the slice halfway. As his hand hit the side of the blade, the chakra he had placed on his limb sliced right through the blade and took him out of danger as he rose up on one hand and kicked the ninja right in the chin, knocking Cat out as well. Finally, all that stood against him was Dragon, Wolf and Tiger as they all rushed him. First came Dragon as Naruto quickly took him out with a few solid punches to the face as he jumped into the air over the kunai that was aimed at his heart. Wolf tried them to throw his kunai at the still airborne boy, only for it to be caught mid-air and thrown backwards at the Anbu, hitting the round part of the knife against his temple, knocking him out as well. Tiger slashed at the boy's back and was satisfied with the welcoming sound of metal on flesh until Naruto went up in smoke. Before any of the occupants could move, Naruto was behind Tiger with 2 tanto he had removed from the fallen ninja. One under the captured Anbu's neck and the other behind him pointed at the Anbu's heart. Naruto was breathing heavily as the body he was now in was not completely up to par with his old one, but it did the job. Both Tiger and Sarutobi stood there shocked that a boy had just defeated 6 Anbu in less than 10 minutes. Sure, 4 of those Anbu were fairly new, but that still did not mean that they were pushovers. Now I know that you are not Naruto, he would never have been able to kill a ninja from his own village so easily. Stated the now very unnerved old man as he just sat down in his chair as he readied himself for a fight. Okay, then how about this? When I was 7 I asked you what being the Hokage meant, and when you told me that it meant putting your life on the line to protect your village, to be the strongest ninja in the whole village, and to be able to feel the pain of your village as if it was your own. When you told me this I told you that you were not the strongest ninja in the village, and when you asked me why I thought that I told you that a ninja by the name of Anko Mitarashi told me that she was. You laughed harder than any other time I had seen you laugh. The old man for his part was slightly convinced but not fully, since someone could have interrogated Naruto to get a story to tell him. So he decided a final test would be done to make sure. Fine then, Naruto, lift your shirt and channel chakra if you are who you say you are. Stated the old man, hoping that if this was not Naruto, then they would do it anyway and that would release the Anbu so that he could use the jutsu he had at the ready. I know what you are thinking, old man, and I know for a fact that Kyuubi and I are fine showing you our seal. Stated the boy as he dropped both swords and lifted his shirt as he channeled chakra, revealing his seal on his stomach. There were a few changes, but not enough to make it unrecognizable as his seal. Naruto, what happened to you? Asked the old man. Naruto lifted an eyebrow and looked at the Anbu who were starting to stir in his office. With a nod the Anbu were gathered and they all left to leave the 2 alone. But a few hand signs and some chakra ladder barrier was set up around them to keep any and all eavesdroppers out of their conversation as Naruto told him his story, or at least most of it. He left out facts about the future that he planned to change or that he needed to happen. By the end of it, though the old man knew that he was from the future timeline, he had all the bijuu sealed inside of him. Thanks to a little shadow clone and bijuu shadow, he was able to meet them all as proof of what he was saying. Well, by Kami, that is a very hard tale to swallow, but I guess you can't be lying. How else could you have every last bijuu inside of you? Very well, Naruto, from this day forward you are now a genin of Konoha. I would make you a higher rank after seeing what you just did, but I can tell the body you now have is still not ready for that. But I know that with training and determination you will rise through the ranks. The Hokage stated as he goes to retrieve the papers for Naruto, who just nodded as he still stood there. Was there something else? The old man asked. Yes, I obviously know about the Kyuubi and my parents, so I would please request that you address the public about my parents and lineage. Also, I want to move into my parents' house and call Jiraiya. I want to beat his face in for not being here. Naruto says, shocking the old Hokage. Well, I guess I can't get you to reconsider it, but please understand the danger you will be put in when the knowledge leaks out. With a nod from Naruto saying that he knew and didn't care, the old man continued, I will announce it at the graduation ceremony tomorrow. The old Hokage says, thanks, old man. Naruto states as he left out the window and runs to his apartment and seals all of his belongings into a scroll. He then ran to his parents' house and opens the door with a swipe of his blood on the security seal. Ready for bed as he realized he had technically been awake for almost a full 24 hours, he threw his scroll onto a dusty chair and went to his parents' room. He opened the door and laid on the bed, happy that he was finally able to have the power to help his friends and family. Beep 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 shh blared the alarm clock before smashing it to pieces. Naruto got out another alarm clock and sat it on his table next to his bed. He brushed his teeth and showered, and as he dried off he went into his mindscape. As he got into the room holding the bijuu, he was shocked to see it had changed again. There was now a huge expanse of varying terrain. It had forests, mountains, deserts, plains, rivers, lakes, and in the middle of it all was a hotel massive apartment with 11 floors. Holy shit, what happened? He said to no one in particular. We decided to clean up and make this place more hospitable. Naruto heard Shukaku say, but when he turned to look there was a miscolored version of Gaara. He had sandy blonde hair, Shukaku's eyes, black tattoos on his arms, lightly tanned skin, a tan jacket with black shorts and shirt, and a headband around his neck that said, 1. So what is with the human form? Naruto asked. We wanted to commemorate our hosts and decided that this was the best way. Chow Mei said, appearing with the other bijuu. She looked like Fu, but had blue-green hair and yellow eyes. She wore a black shirt holding in her C-cup breasts, black skirt, green jacket, and a headband with 7 on her right arm. Naruto took in the others' appearances. Matatabi looked like Yujito, but had blue hair, yellow-green eyes, black shirt that held her D-cup breasts, black biker shorts, blue with black tear-marked jacket, and headband with 2 across her body like a sash. Isobu looked like Yugura, but had slightly gray skin, green hair, Isobu eyes, black shirt and shorts, gray-green jacket, and had a headband with 3 sewn into his shirt. Son looked like a younger Roshi, but had red-black streaked hair, orange eyes, reddish skin, black shirt and pants, a deep red jacket, and a headband with 4 as a belt. Kakuo was what Han looked like under his armor. He was tall and built and had red markings under his eyes, with short brown hair, pale skin, a pair of black shirt and pants, with a light green and white jacket, and had a headband with 5 on his left arm. Seiken looked like Utakata, but had sky blue hair, pale skin, startling blue eyes, black shirt and pants, a sky blue jacket, and had a headband with 6 as a belt. Jayuki looked like B, but had gray hair, Jayuki eyes behind the dark shades, dark brown skin, black shirt and pants, with a blue-gray jacket, horn tattoos adorned his right cheek, and he had a headband with 8 on a glove on his right hand. Kurama was a girl. Wait, you're a girl, Naruto yelled as he huffed and puffed. All that time inside of him and never once had Kurama ever mentioned her sex. Naruto had just assumed that with as deep of a voice as she had in her fox form, she must have been a male. Yes, I am Naruto. Kurama said in his sexy jutsu voice, only without the seduction. Kurama had the Naruto look, but had strawberry blonde hair, red-orange eyes, whisker marks, a black shirt holding her D-cup breasts, a black skirt, along with an orange jacket, and a headband with 9 graced her neck. Naruto whistled and Kurama blushed. Naruto then had to clear his throat as he calmed down a few building tensions in his body. So what's with the house? Naruto asked. We all made personal rooms and one empty one for you to check out later, but for now you need to go, graduate. Son said. Naruto awoke from his mindscape and got a mental message from Kurama as he prepared to exit his parents' old house. Put some bijuu chakra into your hands and run them down your body. While you do that, imagine the clothes you want and they will appear. Naruto closed his eyes and focused for a second. He opened his eyes and looked at his handiwork, only half startled that it had actually worked. He had a black shirt, pants, and sandals. He had a black trench coat with orange flames and the seal design he made for releasing the bijuu, but it had many pictures of the bijuus in the circles, with the words bijuu sage written under the design. He put his headband on his forehead and then opened his window and leaped out of his parents' home as he made his way to the academy for the final time. Later he arrived at the academy and got to class right on time. He got some odd stares with his outfit, but shrugged them off. He scanned the room and found Hinata, who was blushing up a storm from seeing her crush look, for lack of better words on her part, hot as hell. After her confession in his fight with Pain, Naruto had began to get to know and love her more throughout the war. He went up and sat next to her. This instantly made the already red girl turn 2 shades darker as she fought to stay conscious. He immediately saw her blush and smirked. He knew she liked him and that he liked her, but that did not mean that he could not have some fun with her for a little bit. "Hey Hinata-chan, what's up?" Naruto asked in an all too innocent way. He inwardly smirked and laughed as Hinata's face invented a new shade of red that would put the Sharingan to shame. Hello, nah Naruto-kun." Hinata stuttered out, getting redder as Naruto smirked at her. He then started to chuckle and Hinata got a little defensive. Don't laugh at me Naruto-kun." The little bit of seriousness in her voice made Naruto proud. He figured out that if someone hurts her friends or family, you will wish the Shinigami got you because hell had no shit on Hinata when she got pissed. In his own time even Tsunade-bachan was afraid of Hinata if she had managed to get on the young Hyuga's bad side. Naruto smoothed his face, knowing what he would say next could only end up with two outcomes. One was the more likely outcome, where Hinata passed out before she could answer. The other however he inwardly hoped for, where she instantly said yes and then passed out. "Okay Hinata-chan, wanna get a bite to eat after we get through here?" Hinata was shocked and elated. Naruto was finally noticing her and she would not let him go. Mashing down her shy demeanor she fought to stay awake as she answered her crush. "Sir sure Naruto-kun." Hinata replied as Iruka walked in. Once he got the room to quiet down, with a little help from his big head jutsu, he gave his spiel on being a ninja and then got to the teams. Skipping to the main teams. Team 7 will be Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto nodded knowing what his team would face and he would do better the second time around. Sakura cheered in her banshee screech and Sasuke rolled his eyes. Team 8 will be Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka, and Shino Abram. Hinata looked at Naruto sad that they couldn't be together on the same team and Naruto returned her look with a true smile of his, although he made sure to give off an aura of sadness at not being on her team as well. Team 9 is still in rotation, so Team 10 will consist of Ino Yamanka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akimichi. Just then a knock was heard from the door, almost making everyone jump since they were so entranced in the team selections that when the knock came, it had scared Sakura into a small squeal. Iruka walked over and opened the door to reveal Hiruzen and Jiraiya. The class stood and bowed in respect for two of the strongest ninja in their village as Hiruzen spoke. "I have an announcement to make, Naruto, will you come down here?" Naruto walked down and stood in between the two men as a smile graced Naruto's face. "Naruto has found out who his parents are and requested me to tell you all. This is to be made public soon, so telling you is just a start. The Kyuubi attack that took our Yondaime from us is also the same day as Naruto's birthday, October 10th. The Yondaime was an honorable, strong, and devoted man of the village, but even he could not kill the beast as it is made entirely chakra, so he sealed it into a baby, but he could not do this to just anyone's child. As he would never be able to ask someone to do something that he himself was not willing to do. Not to mention that there was only one child born that night, but not only did the Yondaime seal the beast into a child, he sealed it into his own son. Naruto is the son of Minato Namikaze the Yellow Flash and Yondaime of Konoha." The students gasped and stared at Naruto. Some were of fear, some were of calculation, cyber cookie on who will PM me their correct guess to the people, and even more were of respect that Naruto had not gone insane and slaughtered them all yet for treating him badly and like the dead last. Naruto is not the fox like most adults would have you believe him to be, but a hero that has protected us all from the great fox. Also, for those of you who wish to study Kenjutsu, and for those who are interested in Fuinjutsu, Naruto's mother was Kushina Uzumaki, the Swirling Red Death. She was our most powerful Kenjutsu user and hailed from our old allies and cousins of the Senju, the Uzumaki clan. As some of you may remember from your studies, the Uzumaki were very powerful with the sword and were masters at seals. More stares were pointed at Naruto, who chuckled a bit at the faces of his friends and classmates. Hinata was the one he wanted to see react though as he looked towards her. It took almost all of his strength and self-control not to burst out laughing at her face. Hinata had her mouth wide open as her beautiful violet eyes turned to the size of dinner plates. Even Sasuke was wide-eyed and surprised. The dope of the class was really a very prodigal ninja, from not only one great clan but two. One of which had produced the greatest Hokage in the history of the village. A man that had actually beaten out his own father back during the elections for the new Hokage. Sarutobi had given his favor to Minato, but they still needed to vote so that the successor had the support of the majority of the council. His father had been nominated by the village elders but had lost in a landslide from the ninja council. To the day of his death, Sasuke's father was still enraged that he had lost to Minato, something he told Sasuke almost every day. Also, Jiraiya of the Sannin, who was his father's sensei, was made Naruto's godfather. Even more stares came to be placed on Naruto as more and more very famous ninjas seemed to be tied to the boy before him. Before anyone could say anything more than though the door opened again and the new sensei, even Kakashi was on time per direct orders of Kursabit Hey, it counted for something, walked in and claimed their teams. With a point of his finger at Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura, the new Team 7 and Jiraiya went to the roof. "So this my team, huh?" asked Kakashi to himself. Blondie, tell me about yourself. Your likes, dislikes, and dreams, go. Naruto smirked and blurred a bit, using chakra to augment his speed. As he reappeared as he held up his hand in a taunting manner. In his hand was Kakashi's poor icha. He looked wide-eyed and felt that the weight of his book was gone from his back pocket. Naruto flared his chakra in his index finger and created a blue aura around the book before speaking. Be nice or the book will be ash. Kakashi and I'm cried and nodded furiously getting his book from Naruto. Everyone, even Jiraiya, had to sweat drop as Kakashi was seen in a corner hunched on his arms and legs as he pet the book and saying in a deep voice repeatedly, "My precious." With a cough from Naruto, Kakashi came back, although he held a hand over his back pocket just to be safe. Naruto started and said. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. My likes are Hinata-chan, training, ramen of the Ichiraku variety, and listening, writing and playing music. My dislikes are traitors, god-complex people, ramen's cooking time, perverts, looking at Kakashi and Jiraiya. My dream is to surpass my parents and become a great ninja and Hokage. You next, Pinky. Kakashi says, pointing at Sakura. My name is Sakura Haruno. My likes are Sasuke and walking on the beach. My dislikes are Ino pig, perverts and annoying people. My dream is to, Sasuke. Squealed the annoying fangirl. Next is you emo king. Kakashi points at Sasuke. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. My 3 likes are training to get stronger, cats, and tomato juice. Some of my many dislikes are weaklings, fangirls, dobes, and perverts. My dream, no my mission is to kill a certain someone and revive my clan. Well, Sensei's son is promising, the girl could be useful if she got serious, and duck ass hair is an Avenger case, with a nunta small stick thoroughly shoved where the sun don't shine. Kakashi thought before speaking. Well, I am your sensei Kakashi Haddock. My likes are my former team, Icha-chan, and a wandering muse. My dislikes are Icha-chan haters, brats, and flames of youth. My dream is meh. Kakashi finished and told them to meet at training ground 7 at 6 AM the next morning and that they should not have breakfast or they would surely throw it back up. After the rest of the team had left, Jiraiya walked over to Naruto, placing a hand on his shoulder and getting a sucker punch to his ping pong balls and mini Jiraiya. He doubled over and coughed as a high-pitched squeal escaped his lips. After Jiraiya recovered, Naruto spoke. That's for not being here when I needed you, and don't give that I needed to manage the spy network shit. I know Toads could have helped you. Naruto glared and Jiraiya sulked, still holding mini Jiraiya, knowing the kid was right, but he was taken by surprise when Naruto hugged him. What's the deal, kid? You hit me and then hug me, what the hell? Jiraiya yells. Naruto explains the truth to his godfather and has him meet the bijuu via shadow clone overshadowing. Damn kid, so it is true what the geezer said then. Jiraiya says tiredly. Yeah, I know you got questions, but well, I got to go, I got a date with Hinata-chan. Naruto stated. As in Hinata Hyuga. The heir to the Hyuga clan and that Shire-ad-faced girl we saw in your class. That Hinata? Asked the man with a little shock on his face. Well yeah. I yelled Naruto as he jumped away. Dang kid, you aim high. Laughed the pervert. Later Naruto found Hinata's chakra signal and found her just leaving her team. He let his prankster side work its magic and hinged into an orange fox. He went to Hinata and did his puppy face, making the girl squeal. Oh, you are so cute, will you let me hold you? Hinata asked the hinged Naruto, who was cracking up on the inside. He leaps into her arms and licked her face. She giggled and kissed him on the forehead. He saw his chance and sprang out of her arms, dehinging. Thanks for the kiss, hi not ach-on. He said, giving his foxily smirk. Hinata went beet red and was twiddling her fingers. She looked like she would die of embarrassment, so Naruto comforted her. Sorry Hinata, but I like messing with people and you needed to loosen up. It's fine Naruto-kun. So where do you want to go? Hinata said, calming down slightly as she tried to get her blush under control. Well, Ichiraku sounds good to me, how about you? He said, offering his arm. Yes, that will be good. Hinata getting pink in the cheeks as she held on to Naruto. The young couple walked through the village and as they did so Naruto got looks of guilt and respect from the villagers. One store owner that was especially mean walked up to the young couple and bowed to Naruto. Please forgive me Namikaze-sama, I offer my deepest apologies for my actions. He said, crying. Naruto let go of Hinata and raised the man to his feet. Don't do that. He turned to the crowd that had gathered and jumped onto a street lamp. He said in a loud and authoritative voice. People of the Leaf Eye, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze forgive you under the circumstances in which you apologize for. I understand your fear and tell you that I forgive you. He jumped down to the sound of clapping. Naruto relaced his arm with Hinata and continued on to Ichiraku with a look of pure bliss on his face. As the young couple walked in, Tekui walked around and hugged Naruto, explaining to him about his knowledge of Naruto's past. Naruto forgave him with ease and assured him that it was all right and bought 3 bowls of ramen, 2 miso and a pork, as Hinata ordered a shrimp and a small plate of cinnamon rolls. The two chatted until dusk about minor things for the most part. Hinata stayed silent for the first half of the date, but with a little prodding, Naruto got her to relax and talk. Once they both realized how late it was getting, Naruto decided to call it a night and walked Hinata home. "Well, here we are, Hinata-chan, see you tomorrow?" he asked. "Yes, see you, Naruto-kun." As Hinata was turning around, Naruto grabbed her shoulders and gave her a mind-numbing kiss. He let go and jumped away, as a laugh could not help but escape his lips at Hinata's face, as she just stood there and whispered. "Naruto-kun is a great kisser." She walked inside her home thinking about the kiss and nothing else, thus making her try at least 9 times to get past a wall that was in her way at one point. Meanwhile, Naruto was happy that he kissed Hinata. She had such soft and supple lips that just made you want to stay lip-locked with her forever. He leapt home and turned in knowing what to do for the test his team would go through the next day. Naruto woke up 3 hours early based on what his clock said. He went through his morning routine of warm-ups to wake himself up fully and got dressed. As he arrived at training ground 7, he sat on top of the middle post and went into his mindscape. As he walked inside the apartment complex, he had to give his partners credit, the place was huge. It had a fully stocked chef's kitchen, greatly furnished living room with a crescent moon couch and flat screen with surround sound, billiards, fuse ball, and ping pong tables. There was also darts, indoor basketball, and a martial arts ring. As he looked around, he heard a slight giggle, so he turned around to see Matatabi trying to suppress a smile. Naruto was irked that she was laughing at him and says, "Hey, I haven't seen such a cool place before, so don't laugh." Matatabi loses it and breaks down laughing. "Ah ha ha, you have your own floor right above Kurama's, so let's go check it out." The two left and went up to his room by elevator. As they arrived, Naruto looked out in wonder. His room was epic. It had a king-sized orange bed, flat-screen TV, weapons target, a black rug that made one feel ready to sleep on it just as much as the bed, and bijuu wallpaper all around the walls, and stereo with all of his favorite music. "Wow, this is mine, it's great," Naruto says excitedly. He walks around his room and laughs, enjoying his new room, until Matatabi clears her throat. "We need to get you back down into the commons, you need to see Kurama." The two, one begrudgingly as Naruto wanted to hang in his room for a while, went back down to the commons room and see the other bijuu were all there. They all walk up to the group and Kurama spoke. "Naruto, now that we all are sealed inside you, we all want to protect you, so we all want to teach you one basic but strong jutsu from our own arsenal of jutsu. Also, you will get some of the special traits we gave our previous hosts." Isobu adds as Naruto smirked. "Okay, thanks, you guys are the best." Naruto hugs the girls and high-fives the guys, he fist bumps Jayuki. Naruto takes the scrolls that he gets from each of his partners and heads outside. He makes mental clones to help him learn each jutsu, as he gives one scroll to each of his 8 clones. He keeps Kurama's scroll, and the clones go off to a terrain that would best suit their training. Original Naruto POV. Naruto opened his scroll and read the title of the jutsu, bijuu flash bullet. He reads the instructions a few times until he fully understands what he is needed to do to pull the jutsu off and transforms into his 9th bijuu mode. It was still yellow, but his jacket altered the seal, only the picture of Kurama in the middle was visible. He makes another shadow clone as he flares his fox bijuu chakra and then races at the clone and yells, "Bijuu flash bullet." He kicks the clone into the air as he does a high-speed beatdown that would have put his dad to shame. He skidded to a stop directly opposite from where he started from and powered down. In his mindscape it was easier because he had his old body, but with practice he would have it down in no time in the real world. He went back to the complex and watched as his clones faded, giving him knowledge of his new jutsu. Shukaku scroll clone. The clone opened the scroll he got from Shukaku as he landed in the desert area of his mind. He hoped it was a cool sand attack and wasn't disappointed as he read the title, Sand Shower Jutsu. He read the instructions like the original did to make sure he had the concept down and turns to a large boulder sticking out of the sand. He goes into an open stance and does a lifting motion with his hands out to his sides. Sand rises and he holds the boulder in the air above his head. He used his hands and makes a go-forward motion with both of his thumb, saying, "Sand shower jutsu," and the sand reacts immediately, turning into miniature sandy spears of death. The sand projectiles batter the rock, turning it into stone Swiss cheese. The clone, satisfied, goes back to the complex and sees the original coming, so he dispels himself. Matatabi scroll clone. The clone opened the scroll he got from Matatabi as he landed in the field area of his mind. He knew that Matatabi had fire abilities, so he guessed that it would revolve around that. He opened the scroll and read the title, Mouse Hairball Jutsu. As he reads the instruction, he gets a foxy grin on his face and puts a mental note to kiss that feline beauty after his training was done. He held the tiger sign and yelled, "Mouse Hairball Jutsu," and blows a blue and black fireball shaped like a mouse towards a tree in front of him. It goes toward the tree and explodes into smaller fireballs, burning holes into the tree's trunk. He was happy with the jutsu and went back to the starting spot, dispelling as the original came. Isobu scroll clone. The clone opened the scroll he got from Isobu as he landed on the lake area in his mind. He remembered when he fought Yugura when he was reanimated and thought about the coral jutsu he used, hoping he got something along those lines he read. As it turns out, he did as he read the title, Rippling Coral Jutsu. As he read the instructions thoroughly, he turned to a big sandstone poking out of the water. He slammed his hands down and yelled, Rippling Coral Jutsu. Coral spikes raced toward the rock and shattered it when they expanded into a sharp mass of coral around it. With a smirk that he could not help but have on his face, he went back to the house and faded when the original came. Son Goku scroll clone. The clone opened the scroll he got from Son as he landed in the mountain area of his mind. He remembered that Son used lava attacks and guessed that this scroll had one in it. He was right about that as he read the title, Lava Rock Jutsu. As he read the instructions, he realized he would get the Lava Kake Genkai for this jutsu and gave a big grin at the damage he could do with it. He sucked in air and held the control sign for a fireball and yelled, Lava Rock Jutsu, as he blew a stream of fire came out of his mouth. It was darker than normal but not quite magma. The clone returned to the scroll and read again, making sure to fully understand how to make his chakra into magma chakra, and tried again. After a few tries, Naruto yelled his jutsu once more and shot a torrent of lava that formed into 3 spheres of the liquid fire. The lava rocks flew into the side of one of the mountains in his mind and it burned and melted away, leaving a huge hole in it. The clone was proud of his work and returned to the house. He faded as he saw the original coming. Kakuo scroll clone. The clone that got the scroll from Kakuo opened his gift as he landed on a hot spring in his mind. He knew Han used his Steam Keke Genkai as his main source of fighting, so he thought he would get a jutsu like that. He was right as he read the title, Steam Kick Jutsu. He read the instructions and got into a ready stance. He watched as his leg was covered in scalding steam as he turned to a boulder and yelled, Steam Kick Jutsu. He took a step and swung his leg, letting the momentum from the steam carry him. He made contact and heard a satisfying crumbling sound as he turned one huge rock into gravel. He went back to the house and dissipated as the original came. Seiken scroll clone. The clone that got the scroll from Seiken opened his gift as he landed on the banks of the river that was in his mind. He remembered the mission that he met Utakata on and felt guilty that he was taken and sealed into that damn statue. He read the title and was happy he got a jutsu Utakata used a lot, Exploding Bubbles Jutsu. He read the instructions and curled his middle finger with his thumb. He sucked in and said, Exploding Bubbles Jutsu. As he blew out, he sent a cascade of bubbles to a nearby tree. The bubbles collided with the tree, making an exploding pop sound, effectively turning the tree to splinters. The clone was happy with its work and went back to the house. He dispelled after the original came. Chame scroll clone. The clone opened the scroll he got from Chame as he landed in a field area of his mind. He knew Fu used scale powder and wind attacks as her weapons of choice. He wondered which one he would get as he read the title, Fan/Jutsu. He was happy he could add this to his elemental jutsu list as he read the instructions. He crossed his arms like an X and yelled, Fan/Jutsu, as he swung his arms. He made an X-shaped wind slash that flew over the field and expanded into a miniature tornado that flattened the grass and ripped chunks of dirt and stones out of the ground. Happy with his success, he went back to the house and faded when the original came. Jayuki scroll clone. The clone opened the scroll he got from Jayuki as he landed in a heavy forest area in his mind. He knew B had lots of lightning jutsus and wondered if he got that. He answered his own question when he read the title, Lariat Jutsu. He was ecstatic that he got the jutsu that made B famous as he read the instructions. He turned to a thick redwood tree and flexed his right arm. He was covered in regular chakra that then had lightning bursts in it. He got into a steady running stance and yelled, Lariat Jutsu, as he sped off toward the tree, punching it with his lightning-cloaked arm. The tree stood still, but a sonic boom broke the silence and the tree flies away shattering in the air. Happy with his success, he went back to the house and faded as the original came. Regular POV. Naruto was happy with all the success his clones had with the jutsu the bijuu gave him. He got another thought and walked back into the house and walked up to Kurama, Chame, and Matatabi. They all stood up and Naruto, with a burst of 2 shadow clones and chakra-enhanced speed, gave a deep kiss to the 3 female bijuu. His clones faded and he took a mental photo of their shocked faces and left his mindscape. Naruto woke from his trip to his mind just as Sasuke and Sakura were getting there. He hopped down off the post and turns to a nearby tree as Kakashi jumps down as well. The genin stand in front of the posts as Kakashi reaches into his back pocket and pulls out 2 bells and an alarm clock. He clears his throat after he sets the time on the clock and sets it at the middle post. So today we will do the real test to see if you 3 will become genin. Kakashi says, getting stares from Sasuke and Sakura. What, we already did a final test? Sakura yells. Yes you did, but that was to weed out the kids who couldn't become ninja. This test is to weed out the ones who got lucky in the final exam. Okay, so what do we do? Sasuke asks, folding his arms. Thanks for asking, Sasuke. You three will try to get one of two bells from me. If you fail to get one, you go back to the academy. Kakashi says in a bored tone. Sasuke and Sakura look shocked and get a nervous look. Naruto smirks, remembering what Kakashi did to him the time he did this test. He planned on not only passing in one go, but getting his revenge in the process. Kakashi ties the bells to his belt and puts his finger on the start button of the clock and says, "Go." The three genin scatter and hide in various places. Kakashi looks around, noting that they hide well for genin. Naruto makes two shadow clones and sends them to Sasuke and Sakura to tell them his plan. The clones find Sasuke and Sakura and tell them the original's plan. They agree to it and the clones fade, sending their memories to Naruto. Naruto then makes another shadow clone and sends it to fight Kakashi. Clone vs Kakashi. The clone lands in the clearing, glaring at Kakashi. Kakashi registers that Naruto is a threat and puts away his Icha while also revealing his Sharingan. Naruto flares his bijuu chakra, going into his bijuu mode. He makes 7 more clones that all have different color cloaks. The clone goes into the Shukaku cloak and is reversed colored, switching the yellow and black to more black than yellow and getting the picture of Shukaku in the middle of the cloak and also getting Shukaku's eyes. The Matatabi cloak clone switches the yellow for deep blue and getting the picture of Matatabi in the middle of the cloak and also gains yellow and green eyes. The Isobu cloak clone switches the yellow for dark green and gets the picture of Isobu in the middle of the cloak and also gets Isobu's eyes. The Son Goku cloak clone switches the yellow for red and gets the picture of Sun in the middle of the cloak and also getting Sun's eyes. The Kakuo cloak clone switched the yellow for a light green and had the picture of Kakuo in the middle of the cloak and also had Kakuo eyes. The Seiken cloak clone switched the yellow for a sky blue and had the picture of Seiken in the middle of the cloak and also had Seiken's eyes. The Chao cloak clone switched the yellow for navy blue and had the picture of Chao in the middle of the cloak and also had yellow eyes. The Jayuki cloak clone switched the yellow for purple and had the picture of Jayuki in the middle of the cloak and also had grey eyes. The clones speak as one. "I have gained the trust and power of the bijuu and will unleash their wrath on you, Kakashi Haddock." The clones all flare their chakra and do the jutsu from the picture of the bijuu on their backs. Bijuu art. Sand shower, mouse hairball, rippling coral, lava rock, steam kick, exploding bubbles, fan slash, lariat, jutsu. The clones say doing their jutsus. Coral spikes around Kakashi, who jumps in the air to dodge, but quickly has to escape a scalding steam kick and electrifying lariat attacks coming toward him. He sways out of the way, but then has to brace as a barrage of sand spears, bubbles, lava rocks, mouse fireballs, and X-shaped fan slash simultaneously hitting him, resulting in an explosion of chakra. Kakashi lands, clothes half destroyed and slightly smoking, on his feet and instantly fell to a knee. Had he been just a few seconds slower and he may have just died to a genin fresh out of the academy. Sakura and Sasuke, from where they were hiding waiting for their part of the plan to happen, were wide-eyed. This was Naruto, the class idiot. Kakashi raised his head to look at the real Naruto, who dispelled his clones and went into Kurama's bijuu mode and crossed his arms. He smirked and said, "So you gonna give up or are you ready for more?" Kakashi glared daggers at the condescending tone that this child was using against him, a full-grown jonin, and flares his own chakra. "You may be sensei's son, but you will pay for what you have done." He pulls out his Icha, which is charred from the explosion of chakra. In that instant a kabuki mask illuminates over the seasoned jonin as he prepared to avenge his precious. Naruto laughs and says, "You deserve to have your precious book burned because you didn't fulfill your promise to dad and mom." Naruto disappeared from his spot and Kakashi looks frantic as he searches for him. Naruto reappears in a low crouched stance right in front of Kakashi and yells, "Bijuu flash bullet." He kicks Kakashi into the air and does his high-speed beatdown technique on Kakashi. In less than a minute, Kakashi was on the ground with his face in the dirt as Naruto slides opposite from where he started. The blonde boy was breathing rather heavily from all the high-level jutsu he had just shot off, but with a quick refill on chakra, thanks to Matatabi, he was fine. Naruto stared at the jonin as he yelled, "Bijuu art. Revenge 1,000 years of pain." He rushes behind the now barely standing Kakashi and sticks his fingers, held in the tiger sign, in Kakashi's butt, and the only thing heard is a bing sound as Naruto pushes forward, sending a burst of chakra into his fingers and a small, but strong, gusher of pure wind chakra shoots Kakashi into the air. The jonin is seen with a huge tear with his eyes completely watery as he flew higher and higher into the air. "Ooh." Kakashi screams as he is shot into the lake where Naruto was shot into both times Kakashi did this to him. After about 45 seconds Kakashi pulls himself onto the shore and rolls over panting. With Kakashi trying to catch his breath and calm the raging pain in his rear, Naruto makes a go motion to Sakura and Sasuke, who walk over and take a bell each. Naruto walks up to Kakashi and crouches down looking at him with a critical eye. He then leans down to Kakashi's ear and says, I knew this test was for teamwork, even a blind man with half a brain could tell that, and I forgive you for not being around when I was a kid. I know you had the village you had to protect. But if I even see you even act remotely rude to me, hell will break loose and the Shinigami will frown at what I do to you. He then pulls Kakashi onto his back and tells his teammates to meet here at noon tomorrow for their first mission, as Kakashi had passed out from exhaustion. Naruto speed jumps to the hospital and calls a nurse telling her to make sure Kakashi gets good rest. The nurse nods as she took the man from Naruto and laid him on a stretcher before taking him away. Naruto later found out that Kakashi had to get his bottom stitched up from the wind chakra he had used on his fingers, as well as going through a mental evaluation from Inoichi Yamanaka about his most treasured possession going up in smoke. Naruto goes home, as it was getting late, with a smile on his face from the fun he had that day. Naruto did his usual morning routine and got dressed. It had been a few days since returning from his team's first C rank, turned A, mission. He reminisced about the day on the bridge during the final battle, as he started to head out to go for a walk around the village. Flashback: Team 7 had been in wave for almost a week and a half now, and there was no sign of Zabuza or his apprentice anywhere. Kakashi had taught the group the tree walking exercise, mostly just Sasuke and Sakura, since Naruto got the exercise on the third attempt. Naruto was not fully ready to trust his team with the information that he was actually from the future. Sasuke and Sakura had calmed down around him quite a bit, but that did not mean that he trusted them 100% yet. Today, however, was the day Zabuza attacked. Naruto had made sure to play the events out like last time, so that way he did not mess up the timeline until the time was right. Naruto came downstairs from Tazuna's house and like last time, saved Inari and Tsunami from the thugs Gato sent. This time however Naruto knocked one of them out and took the thug with him to the bridge. Naruto, like last time, saw Zabuza and Kakashi fighting while Sasuke and Haku fought as well. This time instead of running towards Sasuke and sneaking into the dome of ice around the two. Instead of sneaking in, he stood right behind a mirror as he waited. Sure enough, within a few seconds he felt Haku appear in the ice behind him as he charged the only fire jutsu strong enough to break the ice. Wave style. Great lava balls jutsu, yelled the boy as he spun around and shot large balls of lava onto the mirror that held Haku, who was so focused on Sasuke and failed to catch Naruto. Haku did the one thing that was possible and jumped out of the ice as the lava came closer and closer to the mask Haku wore. Once Haku was out of the ice, Naruto ran towards the masked ninja and placed a senbon he had picked up off the ground that Haku had thrown and stabbed it into the pressure point on the masked ninja's neck, making them lose consciousness. Sasuke just stood there as he could not believe that once more the dope of the class was able to do something in a few minutes that he, an elite, was not able to do in almost half an hour of fighting. Once more the Uchiha was wondering how the heck the idiot had gained so much power so quickly. Naruto however had a few more things that he had to take care of. Without another look towards Haku or his teammates, he started to run to where he felt Kakashi was. Suddenly the mist that was surrounding them though was lifted and Naruto knew what was about to happen. Adding chakra to his legs to power them up, Naruto shot forward. Just as Kakashi was about to strike down the old mist ninja with his original move, Naruto appeared in the way. Todori, yelled the masked man. Bale Palm, yelled Naruto as the wind chakra fused with all 9 bijuu chakra, sent the man sailing away and into a railing. Naruto, what the hell are you doing? Yelled the masked man as his summoned dogs disappeared in a puff of smoke and Zabuza fell to the ground completely exhausted. Stop Kakashi, Zabuza is not our enemy anymore. Yelled the blonde as he had his clone, who was holding the captured thug, come forward. With a small water jutsu he woke the man up and instantly grabbed him around the throat as he asked his question. What is Gato planning? I am not telling you shit, little boy. Stuttered the man as he spit into the blonde's face. You may want to think twice before answering again. Yelled the boy using his bijuu voice as the man literally pissed himself from the amount of kai coming off the boy. He is GG going to K kill ZZ Zabuza after he KK kills the bridge builder. He has about 100 men waiting to STST strike. Their NN now, I'll let MMEG go. Cried the man as he stared into the eyes of hell itself. Sorry, but if I did that then you would just go and tell Gato that Zabuza knows. So I think you will just be arrested and wait for the trial that will no doubt be held when Gato is taken care of. Stated the boy as he chopped the man's neck and knocked him back into slumber as he made a new shadow clone to carry the man to the village. Naruto, what the hell are you doing? Even if Gato betrayed Zabuza, he is still a threat to your team. The fake hunter nin, started Kakashi once more as Zabuza just stood there thinking. Ninja is taken care of. Sasuke had a small problem with him, but I took care of it in the end. Stated the boy as Zabuza just stared at this boy, saying he easily beat his tool. How? Asked the missing ninja who still laid on the ground. Sorry, that is a village secret. Stated the boy cryptically as he helped Kakashi to his feet and brought him over to Zabuza. Then flashback, after that things turned into a bloodbath in which Zabuza, Sasuke, Kakashi and Naruto slaughtered every last thug that Gato had hired. Afterwards Zabuza and Haku was then offered a place in the village and after a few puppy dog eyes routine from Haku and Naruto, the new Leaf Jonin agreed to come to the village. As Naruto thought of this he heard a commotion coming from a side ally and the memory of what also happened this day hit him as he ran to see Konohamaru and the Sand siblings. With the original way of meeting them where Kankuro had Konohamaru in the air by his scarf. "Hey, I said I was sorry, now let me go, you jerk," Konohamaru yelled. "No way, punk, you run into me and then called me a jerk, you are gonna get it," Kankuro said. "Kankuro, just let it go, he's just a kid," Tamari said, annoyed. "No way, Tamari, this kid deserves it," Kankuro said, cocking his fist back. Swoosh swoosh swoosh, "Now if it isn't the Sand siblings, haven't seen you guys in years," Naruto says as Kankuro droked Konohamaru to dodge the shuriken. This was pointless though as Sand came forward and blocked the ninja stars from hitting the boy. Though to the shock of a certain redhead the Sand fell to the ground when Naruto rose his hand with a smirk. "Thanks boss," Konohamaru says while the other two nod. "Get going guys, I'll see you later," Naruto says as the kids go along their way and run from the freaky makeup wearing boy. "Kid, I don't know what you're on, we've never met you," Kankuro says, glaring at Naruto. "We have, but it's a long story and Gaara is probably wondering how someone is doing a better job than him at controlling Sand," laughed the blonde as he saw all of their eyes widen at the idea that this blonde boy could not only control the Sands like their brother but also knew his name. "That I am Ninja Sand, now who are you and how do you have my abilities that I got from our mother?" Gaara says in his drawly voice while floating on a massive sand. "Well, to explain that you need to meet an old friend. Shadow clone jutsu Shukaku Shadow," Naruto says, making a Shukaku image shadow clone. The Sand siblings were shocked to see a miscolored version of Gaara. "Hello Gaara, you look better than when you were my host," Shukaku says as the Sand siblings regain their composure. "What do you mean when I was your host? I think I would remember being the host of the Ichibi no Shukaku," Gaara said, surprised. "Well, it's a long story, so to summarize, I am from another timeline, one where you were the host of Shukaku here and you were sealed into this statue while we were fighting the fourth great ninja war. In fact, I was the only host not sealed. We had a host and bijuu group discussion and I sealed all of you into myself and that took me here because of the chakra flux that took place and rewrote the other hosts into history, still granting them the abilities they had as hosts. That's why I can use Sand as well as you can, I got your previous power," Naruto semi-rants. "Well damn, that is a hell of a story," Kankuro says, whistling to prove his point. Before Genin talk, or more like Naruto tells them some stories and asks about Orochimaru's invasion. They tell him his plan and he asks them if they will help his counter-plan. With a little prodding and more revelations on how their father was now dead and Orochimaru in his skin, they agree to help. Naruto leaves them to go to the training grounds to meet his team with a smile on his face as he finally got to meet one of his favorite precious people. Training grounds. Naruto arrives to see Sakura standing upside down on a tree limb while Sasuke throws kunai and shuriken at her. Sakura also was returning fire by throwing small explosive kunai at Sasuke. "Hey guys, what's with the overkill training?" Naruto asks, never remembering Sasuke ever training with Sakura himself. "Well, we decided that since you have so much power we need to step up our game to keep up with you," Sakura said as the two stopped their assault on each other. "Yeah, we don't want you to carry us on your power, we want to defend ourselves without you being there," Sasuke says as Sakura jumps down. "Glad to hear that guys, because I have nominated you for the Chunin exams," Kakashi says, landing by his students. Sakura and Sasuke look surprised while Naruto nodded. Kakashi hands each of them a piece of paper for them to sign and agree to participate. He also says they need to make a decision within the week. The three genin look at each other and write their names down and return the papers to Kakashi. "We are ready for this, sensei, but Sasuke and I need more training to be on par with Naruto," Sakura says as her and Sasuke give a determined look. Kakashi nods and pulls out 3 slips of paper and hands them to each of his genin. "This is chakra litmus paper made from a tree that naturally gathers chakra. If you push your chakra into it you can find out your element. This is a Jonin level skill to master, but since you 3 are so determined I'll teach you the basics," Kakashi says. Sakura pushes her chakra into the paper and one half of it crumbles while the other gets soggy. "Sakura, you are equally weighted to water and earth," Kakashi says. Sasuke pushes his chakra into the paper and part of it burned while part of it crinkled up. "Sasuke, you have fire and lightning but are weighted more to lightning," Kakashi says. Naruto pushes his chakra into the paper knowing his was wind, but what happened surprised him. The paper split into 9 parts, each one then turning red. The first piece of now red paper fell into a pile of sand, the second burned away in fire with a blue center, the third broke into coral bits that leaked water, the fourth melted into drops of lava, the fifth was shredded by more wind, the sixth turned into bubbles, the seventh turned into gold scales that were shredded by more wind, the eighth crinkled, and the ninth was consumed in bijuu chakra. Well Naruto, the bijuu that reside in you gave you sand, blue fire, coral, lava, bubbles, scales, lightning, and a high if not absolute wind affinity. Cool, I thought that I could only do those jutsu in bijuu mode. Stated the boy as everyone just gave a sweat drop to the massive powerhouse, not even knowing that he had these powers. Sasuke and Sakura had finally been added to the group when the danger was out of the way in Wave. The only reason why he even did this was to make Sasuke see that Orochimaru was not the only one that could help him with getting power, not that Naruto told him about Orochimaru yet. Kakashi gave Sakura and Sasuke training scroll and some D-to-C rank jutsu on their elements and offered to have Asuma work with Naruto's wind, but what Naruto offered him was a great surprise. Kakashi-sensei, I want to show you something. Naruto said while Kakashi turned from leaving and nodded. Naruto went into Kurama's cloak and raised his hand. Two chakra arms spread from his and made the Rasengan. Now I know that you can do the Rasengan and want to teach you to add your element to it. Now this is like looking left and right at the same time, impossible, but not with shadow clones. Now I know you have smaller reserves than me, so use your Sharingan to copy my chakra flow so you can get a head start on it. Naruto finished as Kakashi showed his Sharingan and copied Naruto's chakra flow. Naruto had started to add wind chakra to his Rasengan after he finished talking. Kakashi nodded to Naruto telling him he copied it. Naruto nodded back and extended a chakra arm from his palm, directing the wind jutsu into the sky and crushing it. The explosion of violent wind and a spiraling glow awed Kakashi and made him wonder on what else his student could do. Naruto reverted back to normal and smirked at Kakashi's face after showing him the wind style. Rasen Shuriken. Kakashi looked at Naruto as if he had just grew a second head and said, "You can do such a powerful jutsu. What rank is that?" Naruto scratched the back of his head and chuckled, "Well, it is an S rank Kinjutsu sensei. So you will help me learn my own version of that?" asked the stunned Cyclops as he just looked at the boy. "Yes, but me being who I am means I can use that like 6 times a day, you should only use that as a killing blow and only when completely necessary," Naruto said seriously. "I know Naruto, so how do I get started?" Kakashi asked with a gleam in his one visible eye. "Make the Rasengan, then make a clone to add your affinity to it, also use your Sharingan to match the chakra flow you saw when I did it," Naruto said as Kakashi did as instructed. Kakashi held his hand out and made the Rasengan after he made a shadow clone, who then held its hands over the Rasengan and focused his main affinity of lightning into the jutsu. The lightning chakra started to cross the sphere and make an edge in the middle, like the blades of the Rasen Shuriken, and once done the clone dissipated and the sound of the new jutsu was a low static hum. Kakashi was sweating bullets from the exertion and amount of chakra it took to make his new lightning style Rasengan, but nonetheless stood there with it in his outstretched hand. Naruto looked impressed as it had taken him a week to get to where Kakashi got in one try, although in his defense he did it with no help and Kakashi had used the Sharingan. Kakashi rushed to the large tree and slammed his new jutsu into it. As soon as the ball hit the tree it exploded into shards of wood. Kakashi fell back on his butt almost completely wiped clean of chakra as Naruto walked over to help him up. "So you got version 1 down perfect in a couple minutes, that's all well and good, but version 2 is what I showed you," Naruto said getting a surprised look from Kakashi. "Well, I'll practice lightning style Rasengan version 1 for the rest of the week and then during the month for the third round prep, I'll get working on my version 2. Kakashi said with a smile as he and Naruto left the training ground. The next couple of days for Team 7 were filled with intense training and at the last day before the exams, Kakashi called his students together. "Well, tomorrow is the exams, you guys have been training hard over this week, let's hear the progress you've made," ordered the man as he stood before his team. "Well sensei, I have 2 jutsu for each of my affinities. For Earth I have Earth style Headhunter jutsu and Earth style Dragon Mud Shot jutsu. For Water I have Water style Water Prison jutsu and Water style Cascade jutsu," Sakura said getting an approving nod from Kakashi, all 4 were either high D to mid C rank jutsu. "I have 2 for each of mine as well. For Fire I have Fire style Fire Stream jutsu and Fire style Dragon Flame Bomb jutsu. For my Lightning I have Lightning style Shock Impact jutsu and Lightning style Static Pulse jutsu," Sasuke said getting a nod from Kakashi. Sasuke's jutsu were at least mid-C to low B rank and were very useful in a fight. "I have gotten better with my bijuu art techniques and can do them without going into a full bijuu cloak, although it does take a bit more chakra without it. But with my reserves and control how they are, it is a minor annoyance and nothing that will be too devastating," Naruto said. Okay guys, go home and get some rest for tomorrow is a big day, meet at the academy at 7 AM room 301 and don't be late. Kakashi said, disappearing in a leaf body flicker. His team just staring for a moment at the spot he left from, the same thought going through all three of their minds. He told us not to be late. The Jonin everyone proclaims will be late to his own funeral, told us not to be late. Wow, pot, kettle, or black, which one do you choose? Thought the trio as they all left to do what they wanted for the rest of the day. Junin exam day. Naruto got up at 6 AM, got showered by 6:10, and ate breakfast and left by 6:40. He remembered that this was the time Orochimaru invaded, so he made a shadow clone and told it to tell the old man and stay with him, or to at least have Anbu stationed at the ready to capture him, until he gave off a signal to capture the traitorous snake. Naruto walked up to Sasuke and Sakura as the three walked together into the academy. None of them said anything to one another, none of them needed to. They all knew they were ready for this day no matter what came at them. They remembered Kakashi telling them to go to room 301 and headed up to the second floor. As they start going up to the third floor, Naruto heard yelling. "Hey guys, you hear that?" Naruto asked quietly. Sasuke and Sakura stopped and listened and hear what seemed to be yelling down the hall. "Yeah, I hear it," Sasuke says. "Me too," Sakura adds. "Well, I'm going to send a clone to check it out while we head upstairs," Naruto said, making a clone as he sent it to see what was going on, although he knew what to expect. The clone started going to the noise as the genin went to their testing room. As they walked in, a Chunin guard gave them numbers and they sit at their places. They quickly realized that this was made so helping each other was hard, something Naruto had already knew would happen. Clone POV. The Naruto clone walked toward the yelling and saw multiple teams of genin. As he looked around he saw teams 8, 9, and 10, and he quickly went around and told them to meet him down the hallway. The Kumo, Taki, and Suna teams noticed them leaving and decided to follow. "Hey guys, that isn't room 301, look at it from back here," Naruto said as the others looked at the room number, and they all sweat dropped when they saw it was room 201. With that they followed Naruto's clone up the stairs to the testing room, and they all sit in their spots as the clone dispelled. Regular POV. The Konoha genin were all seated and the test would start in 5 minutes. A little bit later the Suna team, Kumo team, and Taki team all took their seats as well, and the clock struck 7. The door at the other side of the room opens and what they can only guess was the test proctor stepped up to the podium. "Hello maggots, my name is Ibiki Marino and I am your test proctor. Now this test is simple, it comes in 3 parts like the genin exam, but these parts are made to weed out the ones too weak to make it. We want Chunin, not green ass genin. So this is the first part, a written test. It will have 9 questions and a verbal 10th question at 10 minutes until the end of the test. No cheating is allowed and if you get caught 5 times then you and your team fails," Ibiki stated in his rough voice as all the genin look around at each other. "Okay, begin," Ibiki yells. The genin got to work as they all soon realized that it could not be done by the average genin, though some could. Cyber Cookie for a reviewer PM on who the right people are. As such soon the others quickly began on their stealthy cheating. Sasuke used his Sharingan to copy the movements of the person in the room from their village that had the most chakra in the room, other than Naruto of course, as Neji and Hinata used their Byakugan to copy them from the same man. Kiba had Akamaru tell him answers from other people's tests, and Shino used his bugs to scout out the best answers and then had them bring them to him. Tenten used mirrors that she had placed around the room with a convincing yawn and a throw of her arm. With them she helped Lee get the answers as well. Naruto had his partners tell him since they were quite old and knew almost anything that a shinobi of any rank would need to know. Shikamaru used his shadow possession jutsu to help Choji since he already knew the answers just from him being him. Ino used her mind-body switch jutsu to get the answers from Sakura, who finished first, who just used her giant knowledge to answer the questions. The other contestants did their own methods of cheating as teams were called left and right to leave for cheating after a while, and a few mental laughs from the losing genin, complaining about how they were not cheating. Ibiki tapped on the board. "So before you hear the 10th question I ask you this. How big of balls do you all have? I ask this because if you get this question wrong, you will be barred from ever taking the exam again," Ibiki said, getting angry shouts from genin, all of which made him smirk even more in his mind. "Haha, I still got it. Soon they will be fighting themselves just to see if they have what it takes," chuckled the man in his mind. "What the hell, there are people here that have done this test already," Kiba yelled. "Well, tough shit, you have me as a proctor this year," Ibiki said as the weaker teams start to leave one by one and Sakura was about to go with them until Naruto decided to intervene and shocked everyone that knew him as he rose his hand. It went silent in the room just from the pure shock going through it from all the Konoha genin. That was until a slam was heard as Naruto slammed his hand on the desk. "I don't quit and I don't run away, I'll be a Hokage no matter what, even if I stay a genin. It's my nindo. My ninja way. So go ahead and ask your dumb question, my team and I are ready and we ain't giving up," He yelled the last part as he looked and pointed at both Sasuke and Sakura, keeping his eyes and finger on Sakura to make her get the point. The others in the room decided to stay after that as they started to think about it and grow more determination from the young demon container, and Ibiki thought damn the others won't leave now, this kid steal their wills for them, his whole had to ruin my fun. Okay then, you started, the man as he stood there looking at the ones to pass. Hey, can I do the honors? Naruto asked, as Ibiki was shocked as he could only nod, surprised that a genin might have seen through his mind games. We pass. The 10th question was the option to stay and risk it or leave to try again, but in the real world to leave may mean you fail an important mission, since parameters will not be met. The other genin stared wide-eyed at Naruto as Ibiki just stands there for a moment. This kid had actually saw through his tricks and mind games and looked underneath to figure out his game. Finally though, he came out of it and told them about what it means to be a chunin. He then shows them his scars, making the few teams that were only slightly more brave than the ones that had left throw up, and tells them good luck. Swoosh kreesh thunk thunk wheels Anko Mitarashi sexist Kanoichi and Konoha. Black roll-up poster going through the window. Hello kiddies, I am the sexiest Kanoichi. Anko Mitarashi and I am the proctor of the second exam. Anko said looking at the chunin hopefuls. Anko you're lagging. Ibiki said getting a sweat drop from the snake mistress. Well, at least my test will be challenging to get rid of the fodder. What is there, like 40 something genin here, you're getting soft. Anko stated as she looking at the genin. Maybe this crops is stronger than the others. Ibiki said smiling. Well whatever, my test will make sure to knock at least half of them out of the ranks, if not worse. Okay kiddies, move out to training ground 44, or as we higher ups call it, the forest of death. Anko yelled while leaving in a leaf body flicker as the genin got up to go to the forest. Eights of training ground 44. The genin all mulled around the platform they had built there until Anko reappeared eating a stick of dango. Alright now, before we start you all need to sign these. Anko said as some aides passed out the waivers to the genin. What are these for? Sakura asked, reading it over. Those are waivers to say that you agree that if you die the village is not responsible. Anko said in a manner that made you think she was talking about the weather or something, getting a nervous look out of Sakura. I don't even need this cause, I'll wipe the floor with anyone who messes with me. Naruto yelled out loud enough for everyone to hear him, remembering the time he did this. He started his short and simple plan to capture Orochimaru. Swoosh shikao, who threw that? Naruto yelled as blood flowed from the cut in which he got from a thrown kunai on his cheek as Anko appeared behind him holding a kunai against his neck. Think you can take me, brat? Oh how I would love, Anko said licking his blood off his cheek, to see that. No, I have no reason to take you anywhere except maybe out to eat one night when I'm older. Naruto stated as he got the satisfaction from seeing Anko blush slightly at being hit on by a kid half her age as he felt Orochimaru approach with the kunai. Him, on the other hand, I can and will take. Naruto roared as he went into Shukaku's cloak, wanting to start off going at least one tail's worth to test the waters, and disappeared. He then reappeared behind the concealed Orochimaru and encased him in sand, reinforcing it with his bijuu chakra. Naruto used a hand not controlling the sand to draw a seal made of chakra in the air and burn it onto Orochimaru's forehead, right through the skin of the Kusa ninja and onto Orochimaru's actual forehead. This not only made the sand stiffen it being so suddenly attacked, as he thought he had concealed his chakra well enough that no ninja would be able to sense it, let alone be able to tell it was his own. In that moment that he had stiffened, Naruto had him though. This is no Kusa Kunoichi, this is the snake traitor Orochimaru. Naruto snarls as he rips the fake face off the traitor. See. Cuckoo, so the nine tails brat caught on to my plan. Either way, let's see if you can take me as you so put it. Orochimaru stated as he opened his mouth, but nothing happened. He tried again, and the same result occurred. He looked panicked for a moment before realization hit him and glared at Naruto. What did you do to me, whelp? What was it that you drew on me? Yelled the man. During this time Anko and the others just stood there. Here was a kid, a genin fresh out of the academy, who had not only spotted, identified, and captured Orochimaru in their own village. But it also stopped his from being able to move at all thanks to the sand, and somehow stopped him from using some type of jutsu from his mouthful in a matter of moments. Well, first of all, I know I can take you, and if you meant take you in the manner that I was meaning with Anko-sen over there, since we all know you like the boys young, then I am going to have to kill you. But to answer your question, the seal I placed on you was a special Uzumaki chakra restraint and drain seal. It could kill a Jinchuriki by absorbing and sealing their chakra so fast it would be as if they never had it to begin with, just like what is happening to you. I'd give you maybe 5 minutes at the most at the rate I have it absorbing now, although if you begged a little I might be moved enough to make it go faster. Naruto said with a smirk as Orochimaru screamed bloody murder. He thrashed and thrashed, trying in vain to break out of Naruto's sand. After a minute Hiruzen came with a platoon of Anbu and put the traitor in a multi-layered sealing wrap. Only once the wrap was in place though did Naruto ever remove his sand, and he allowed a little bit of it to stay on the snake to make 100% sure that the man did not get out of the bonds and slip away. After that though Sarutobi looked at Naruto with an arched eyebrow. Naruto, you were right and good job capturing the snake. I honestly thought it would take you longer and with a lot more explosions. I mean, you know how flashy the snake can be. But to get to the point, you said you knew more. Hiruzen asked as Naruto nodded. The Budo, the other Kusanin, and the Odo-nin are all part of the inside job that this traitor had planned. He also has more Odo-nin ready for an invasion with Suna, who played double agent when I met their genin, and explained Orochimaru's plan to them. Naruto said as more Anbu grabbed the enemy ninja, after a nod from the Hokage. They all tried to struggle a bit, but any that tried any more than that were swiftly knocked out. Okay, good work, we will discuss your insight later after the exams. Bear sent word out to all Anbu and Jonin not having students in this exam to work with the Suna force to capture the Odo-nin. Hiruzen yelled as the Anbu left. Hiruzen then nodded to the Anbu who had Orochimaru and the nin Naruto told them about in custody and left with a farewell to Naruto who powered down and out of his Shukaku cloak as he turned around to see the other genin staring in shock at him. It wasn't every day you got to see a genin catch a legendary missing ninja off guard and capture him all in the same amount of time it took the Hokage himself to arrive. What Naruto did not expect to see though was a crying Anko. It's okay now Anko, that bastard is caught and I can get his cursed seal off you. Naruto stated as he came over to the woman and lit his fingers up with chakra and touched the cursed seal. It smoked for a second as pain crossed Anko's crying face for a moment and then faded. Anko stood and looked at Naruto with shining eyes as if she had just been told by a Biki that there were hundreds of missing ninja in the basement ready to be interrogated and had asked for the most painful one they could get. In an instant though her face broke and a pure smile, one not many had ever saw, appeared on her face as she lunged for Naruto and hugged him. This would be expected to be honest, since she had hated that seal since it had been placed in her, but Naruto was slightly shorter than the grown adult and as such his face was smashed right into her supple breast. After a few minutes of hugs, tears, and even a few kisses on the cheeks, along with a promise to make it up to him after the exams, Anko finally recomposed herself and explained the rest of the test and handed out the scrolls. The whole time Naruto stood there with a big grin on his face, along with a massive blush, though when Sakura tapped him on the shoulder he came to. Team 7 decided that Naruto should have the scroll after the performance he just made, and since he was the strongest in their group. Naruto nodded his head to their reasoning and sealed the scroll inside one of his own scrolls he had on him as the bell sounded and the teams were off in the forest of death. The second exam had begun. Team 7 rushed through the forest with Naruto in front, Sakura in the middle, and Sasuke in the back, checking for any enemies trying to attack while the team's back was turned. The three dashed for 2 hours, getting about 25% of the way to the tower when Naruto held his hand up and the three Chunin hopefuls landed on the forest floor and Naruto spoke. "We can rest here for a while," he said as he sat on a stump as the other two joined him, and after a little moment of silence, Sakura asked what was on her and Sasuke's mind. "Naruto, how did you know about that Orochimaru guy back there?" "I knew this was coming." "Well Sakura, for shits and giggles, let's just say that I have done this Chunin exam before and know what would have happened if that snake was allowed to get to us in the forest," he said, getting a sympathetic look from the girl. "Okay, but what did you remove from the proctor's neck?" Sasuke asked. "That is the corrupted version of a bloodline that Orochimaru calls the curse seal. It gives you great power, but it slowly eats at your mind and infects your chakra with evil thoughts. He was planning on giving it to you, Sasuke, and having you leave the village wanting him to give you power to kill Itachi, which we will talk about with the Hokage. Dost know this? Itachi did not want to kill your clan, some very dire circumstances put him in a bad spot and he had to," Naruto said, getting a shocked look from his teammates. "So Itachi was forced to kill our clan, he didn't do it on purpose?" Sasuke asked. "Yes," Naruto said, nodding. "Okay, so what was with all those different jutsu you had? The Kyuubi wouldn't give its host so much power, would it? I mean, it's evil," Sakura said, getting a snarl out of Naruto, who quickly used his sand control to make a dome over the team and grabbed his teammates' wrists, taking them to his mindscape. Mindscape. Team 7 opened their eyes to a different scene from what they saw before. They were in a forest still, but it was midday, not the evening. Naruto smiled and began walking in a random direction, causing his teammates to follow him. The genin stepped out of the woods and what they saw took Sakura's and Sasuke's breath away. They were looking out over a huge lake and saw varying terrain around them. Over to their left was a huge complex which Naruto briskly chakra dashed towards. Sasuke and Sakura were quick to follow their teammate who seemingly knew where to go. The team arrived a couple yards from the door and stopped as Naruto turned to his teammates and smiled. "This is my mindscape and these are the 9 bijuu," Naruto said as 9 people walked out and stood shoulder to shoulder. Sakura and Sasuke were shocked, not only did Naruto contain the Kyuubi, he also held the other 8 bijuu as well. So these are your teammates? They look shrimpy to me. Shukaku said in a bored tone. Be nice Shukaku, they need to grow as ninja and as people first. Chao said in a chiding manner. Well guys, these are the 9 bijuu. Naruto said as the bijuu introduced themselves. Sup, I am the Ichibi, Shukaku. Hello, I am the Nibi, Matatabi. Hey, I am the Sanbi, Isobu. Greetings, I am the Yanbi, Son Goku. Hello, I am the Gobi, Kakyo. Hi, I am the Rakubi, Seiken. What's up, I am the Nanabi, Chao. Hey, I am the Hachibi, Jayuki. I am the Kyuubi, Kurama. The bijuu introduced themselves as Sasuke and Sakura looked in shock. These were the most powerful and oldest beings in existence, and the oldest looked in his late 20s, son. So the 9 of you are the great bijuu? Sakura asked, sounding skeptical. Yeah, these regular-looking people are giant chakra animals that can flatten mountains, erupt volcanoes, cause tornadoes, hurricanes, and earthquakes. Naruto said in an overdramatic fashion that Kurama knew was a jabber, since her legend said the same thing. Well, since we are so scary, maybe I should go get Hinata-chan and tell her our little plan. Kurama said in a foxy smirk, seeing Naruto pale. Please no, I have to do it or she'll try to juck in me when I'm not ready and can't reopen my chakra points. Naruto said, frantically crying in I'm style. The 2 other members of Team 7 talked with Naruto and his partners after Naruto told them his time travel secret and swore them by binding seals to secrecy. Damn, so I really become a nuke nin for that snake pedo, just damn. Sasuke says, disappointed in himself. You only did that because he got you with his cursed hickey. Naruto says to Sasuke, trying to hold in a laugh. Well, at least I'm not useless in the future. Sakura says happily as she recalls what Naruto told about her future. Okay, let's get back to the waking world, we need to get a heaven scroll. Naruto said as the 3 faded out of his mindscape. Real world, okay, let me see who is near us. Naruto says while pumping his chakra system with Kyuubi chakra. He closed his eyes and searched for the emotions of any people near them. He found the AIM team from the first time he did this exam coming right toward them. Hey, the AIM team is coming to us. Here, let me see your binding seals. Sasuke and Sakura hold out their right wrists. Naruto tapped Sasuke's wrist and the kanji moved and shrunk until it became what a fully matured Sharingan would look like. Then he tapped Sakura's wrist and it became a Sakura bloom. Okay, now we can identify ourselves if these guys somehow overpower us. Naruto said as the team split up to fight the AIM team. Naruto landed in front of one of the AIM nin, but he wasn't the same as the one that he fought before. It was Aoi Rakusho, the guy he and Sasuke beat protecting Ibika's little brother. Naruto looked him over and noticed that he had the Raijin sword but did not go for it when he appeared. He guessed that meant he didn't get Ide to steal it thanks to him warning Ibiki about it on his written exam. Flashback, Ibiki was walking around the testing room picking up papers. He stopped at the kid who steeled everyone's nerves into staying. He looked to see that Naruto hadn't answered any questions. As he was about to chuckle to himself, he saw a notice from him on the back. Hey Ibiki, your little brother Ide will steal the Raijin sword for an AIM nin. Don't let him go or he will be hunted as a missing nin. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Ibiki looked shocked and looked for his brother, seeing him about to leave. He stopped him and questioned him about the theft. His brother explained to him that this guy would kill him if he didn't and apologized about his weakness as Ibiki went about giving him a punishment for later. And Naruto laughed and said, so you stole a national treasure of my village and expect to go through the Chunin exams with it. Aoi was pissed that he was found out before he could get away with his prize. So? Even if you do know, I can just kill you and I'll be fine. He said while pulling out his umbrella. Ninja art. Needle storm. Aoi exclaimed as he spun his weapon, sending a barrage of senbon at Naruto. Ah, you think that will hit me? Eat this, bijuu art. Sand shower jutsu. Naruto yelled as he charged Shukaku's chakra into his body and fired off a wave of sand spears. The attacks collided. Naruto made more spears than Aoi's senbon and the extra hit him into a tree, knocking him out almost instantly. Naruto walked up and took the Raijin sword and put it in a weapon pouch. He then leapt towards Sakura, wondering if she needed help. Sasuke had just landed in front of one of the AIM nin. He looked over his opponent and wondered what kind of water jutsu this person had. He got his answer when he heard the AIM nin say, water style. Water whip jutsu. The nin had a whip of water form in his hand, in which the nin used to lash at Sasuke, who had to use his level 2 Sharingan to dodge the attack. Sasuke jumped back just out of the range of the whip and flashed through hand signs. Lightning style. Shock impact jutsu. Sasuke says as he has lightning bolts flashing around him while his hair stands up. Imagine Goku Super Saiyan 2 with black hair. Sasuke disappears in a bolt of lightning and races toward the AIM nin and reappears by the middle of the water whip and sticks his hand into it. Needless to say, the AIM nin was shocked, pun intended, to find that his jutsu was used against him. The aim-nin fell on the ground unconscious as the heaven scroll that Team 7 needed rolled out of his weapons pouch. Sasuke walked up and pocketed the scroll, going back to where Sakura leapt off to, guessing she might need help. Sakura landed in front of the aim-nin and immediately started to attack. Earth style. Dragon mud shot jutsu. Sakura yelled at a earth dragon head rose from the ground and fired a ball of highly compacted mud at the aim-nin. The aim-nin had little time to react and made a defensive water jutsu. Water style. Water wall jutsu. The aim-nin set as a wall of water popped up, barely slowing down and softening the mud ball. The attack hit the aim-nin, sending him onto his back 30 feet away. Sakura did a couple more hand signs. Earth style. Headhunter jutsu. Sakura said as she sunk into the ground. The aim-nin barely moved before he felt his feet being grabbed and just watched as he was pulled down to his neck into the earth. Sakura rose from the ground, walked up behind the aim-nin and kicked him, knocking him out as Naruto and Sasuke appeared. "Okay, just to be sure on who we are, I'll show my mark," Naruto said, going into Kurama's cloak. The other two not, and Sasuke held his wrist out, flaring his chakra, showing his Sharingan-shaped seal. Sakura did the same, showing her Sakura Bloom seal. Sasuke then pulls out the heaven scroll and the other two members nod, leaping off toward the exam tower. Exam tower. Team 7 walked into the tower and took out their two scrolls and rolled them over each other. A puff of smoke later and Iruka appeared before the Chunin hopefuls. "Hey guys, good work on making it to the tower early. You can use your extra time to relax and rejuvenate before the preliminaries. Be sure to go to the stadium in 4 days before noon or you will be disqualified. See you later," Iruka says, disappearing in another puff of smoke. Team 7 went to the door that opened after Iruka left and headed to the examinees' rooms. Each picked one and went inside, happy to relax after their trek in the forest. Day of prelims. Team 7 had relaxed and rested the 4 extra days they had once they got to the tower. They watched as all of the other teams that made it in on time entered the tower after them, beaten and tired. The Sand siblings came 2 hours after them, the Taki team that had Fu on it, the Kumo team with Yujito on it, B's team, Raushi's team, Han's team, and the Kiri team with Utakata on it all made it soon after them. All of the rookie teams made it, as well as Team 9 as well. Naruto was getting word from his partners to go talk to their old hosts, so he made a plan that satisfied them all. All of the teams assembled in the preliminary stage before their sensei and proctor Hade. "Hello and welcome to the Chunin exam second round. Out of the 14 teams, 11 teams have made it. This is too many, so we will have a preliminary round to cut the numbers for the finals." Hiruzen said, getting some complaints from the Chunin hopefuls. After explanation riddle with coughing every few words about what the final matches were to be for, since they were basically a which of our lowest ranking ninja are better kind of deal. Not to mention a time to show off and make more jobs available to their respecting villages. Even after that though, there was still some grumbling. "Okay, that's enough of that, cough cough. I am Heiichi Jekko, the proctor for the preliminary round. These are one-on-one fights, the winner is decided on submission, defeat, or if I call the match, cough cough. My word is law, so don't forget, cough cough, when I call it, it is over, no exceptions. Does anyone want to drop out?" One person from Han's team, Raushi's team, and the team with Utakata on it dropped out, saying they were too tired to fight at the moment, even though they had arrived shortly after Naruto's and Gaara's team had arrived. "Now I will start the first fight," Heiichi announced as he pushed a button on the wall and a screen popped out and went randomly through each contestant's name, stopping on Sasuke and Amoy. The other Chunin hopefuls left the arena and went to the contestants' box, eager to watch the fight. Heiichi walked in between the two and nodded to them both. "Ready to go?" Heiichi yelled, jumping back. The two jumped away from each other, throwing shuriken and kunai. Sasuke, who had a specialty in shuriken kunai jutsu, ricocheted 2 shuriken off a kunai and landed long but shallow cuts on Amoy. "Damn, if he can get any more cuts like that he may be able to get some serious damage, then I would have to, oh shit," Amoy thought as Sasuke shot a fireball over towards the imaginative genin. "Okay, you wanna play like that? Let's play. Ninja art. Kumo cutting jutsu," Amoy said, pulling a katana out off his back and rushing at Sasuke. As Amoy neared Sasuke, he jumped in the air and made a heavy downward swing on the Uchiha. Sasuke used a kunai that he was going to throw to block the attack that would have led to his loss, only for both boys to be left at a standstill as they fought for dominance. Amoy pushed on though as he channeled more of his lightning chakra into his sword. Sasuke saw this and sent his own lightning chakra into his kunai to match the output that Amoy was using. Sure, he could use more and overpower him, but his kunai was not made to handle that level of chakra, and as such, he may just do more bad than good. If he pushed it too far, the young ninja stayed locked together until Sasuke kicked Amoy back. Sasuke used this distance to use his second lightning jutsu. Lightning style. Static pulse jutsu. Sasuke said as clapped his hands, making a small wave of lightning. The wave moved too fast for Amoy to dodge, but he knew how to counter it. Amoy horizontally swung at the wave of lightning and used his sword to conduct the attack. He flipped his blade upside down and stabbed it into the floor of the arena, letting the concrete absorb the attack. Shit, he countered my attack. That's fine, then let's see if he can beat fire. Fire style. Fire stream jutsu. Sasuke yelled as a fast and controlled jet for fire shot from his mouth at the Kumo ninja. Amoy backpedaled to the wall, back-flipping onto it and running toward Sasuke while going through hand signs of his own. Lightning style. Volt stream. Amoy said as he put his hands together in a finger gun. Lightning shot from the tips of his middle and pointer fingers going towards Sasuke. Sasuke jumped back, activating his Sharingan as he evaded and went through hand signs once more. Lightning style. Shock impact jutsu. Sasuke said, streaming lightning around his body and disappearing in a bolt of lightning. Sasuke appeared behind Amoy, sending a snap kick to the boy's ribs. Sasuke then followed up with a left haymaker, sending Amoy crashing to the floor. Sasuke disappeared and reappeared in front of a downed Amoy, who was shakily trying to get up. Sasuke held his hands out ready to use his static pulse again. Until Amoy raised his head and said, "I give, you win." Sasuke let his chakra fade and helped Amoy up. He shook his hand in appreciation of a good fight as both boys agreed to a rematch one day. Amoy of Kumo has forfeited, so Sasuke Uchiha of Konoha wins and is going to the finals. Hayate said as some medics take Amoy to be looked at. Hayate pushed the button again and the screen lit up with the contestants' names. The board stopped on Shino and Fu's teammate, going to just list the winners until Naruto's match. Shino vs Fu's teammate, winner Shino. Kankuro vs Vegito's teammate, winner Kankuro. Kari vs Sakura, winner Kari. Samui vs Ino, winner Samui. Tamari vs Tenten, winner Tamari. Shikamaru vs Fu's second teammate, winner Shikamaru. Choji vs Fu, winner Fu. Yujito vs second teammate, winner Yujito. Hinata vs Utakata's teammate, winner Hinata. Niji vs Rashi's Genin 1, winner Niji. Utakata vs Han's Genin 1, winner Utakata. Rashi Genin 2 and Han Genin 2 tie, both out of energy but not knocked out, so both move on. After all those fights, the board finally stopped on Naruto and Kiba. "Okay fighters, get to the floor." Hayate ordered as Naruto and Kiba jumped to the floor. "You're so going to lose, Naruto, Akamaru and I will stop you." Kiba boasted confidently. "Oh, so you still think you can win even though I captured Orochimaru, huh? Well then bring it, Mud." Naruto laughed while getting into a ready stance. "Fighters re-division." Hayate says, jumping back. Naruto waited for Kiba to strike. "Let's go, Akamaru." Ninja art. Beast mimicry. Ninja art. Four legs jutsu. Kiba yelled as he and a transformed Akamaru charged at Naruto. Kiba and Akamaru did tandem follow-up attacks that kept Naruto moving. "Ga. Stay still, loser, Gitsuga." Kiba yelled as he and Akamaru jumped and spun into the tunneling fangs. The K9 duo raced towards Naruto, who made his favorite hand sign. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. 50 Narutos appeared and fanned out, trying to confuse Kiba. Naruto hung back and watched as his clones took the hits for the tunneling fangs. After all of his clones were dispelled, Naruto looked at a worn-out Kiba and Akamaru. "Okay dog breath, I'll end this," Naruto said as he made 4 clones. The clones rushed Kiba. "Nah, Ru, too." Each of the 3 clones yelled as they kicked Kiba into the air. Kiba stared at the ground as he was going higher into the air. Kiba heard something behind him and turned to look, only to find a sight he would always remember. Uzumaki barrage. Naruto yelled as he sent a chakra-powered axe kick into Kiba's back, sending him crashing down to the arena floor. Kiba crashed into the floor, making a 5-foot-wide crater as Naruto landed and walked up to the downed Kiba, waiting to see if he would get back up. Hayate walked up to Kiba and checked him before making the call. "Kiba Inuzuka is unconscious, the winner is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze," Hayate said. Medics came and took Kiba to be checked on as Naruto left the arena floor. "Will Gaara and Rock Lee come down to the floor?" Hayate said as the board stopped. Gaara appeared in a sand body flicker and Lee jumped from the contestants' booth. "Fighters re-division," Hayate said, jumping back. Lee charged first at impressive speeds towards Gaara, who wasted no time in using his sand as a barricade and buffer to stop Lee from delivering bone-shattering blows to his body. Gaara wanted some distance, so he sped through his hand signs. "Sand tsunami." Gaara yelled as a massive wave of sand shot towards and slammed Lee into an wall. Gaara tried to restrain Lee with his sand coffin, but Lee was faster and blurred away to the top of the ram sign statue and looked to Guy, who nodded, and Lee bent down as he moved his leg warmers up to reveal weights. Lee unhooked the weights and held them up before he looked at a questioning Gaara. "I cannot preform Ninurjin jutsu, so my training is focused on Taijutsu. The removing of my weight says that I need not to hold back on you, Gaara-san, so let us continue," Lee says, dropping his weights. A large crash and smoke rose from the weights as they hit the arena floor. 2 7-foot wide by 3 feet deep craters could be seen around the weights. The crowd was astonished that a genin could even move, much less fight with that much weight. Everyone besides Kakashi, Naruto, and the members of Team 9 thought, "Whoa." Lee looked one last time at Gaara and then blurred away. Gaara stood and only raised his sand up to his chest in a perimeter around him. This proved to be a good idea because right then Lee appeared and battered Gaara's sand with fast but powerful blows. Lee backed off but was not done as he began to gather chakra. Lee looked up. He had lost his pupils, his hair was raised, and his skin was red and had veins bulging out of it. First gate of opening open. Lee yelled as he disappears again. He reappeared right in front of Gaara and said, "Leaf shadow dance." Lee kicked Gaara into the air and repeated an upside down lift kick 3 times, sending Gaara ever higher. Lee landing and unwrapped his bandages. He jumped up behind Gaara, who was just reaching the peak of his lift. Lee restrained Gaara with his loose bandages and held him tight. Lee then flipped the two of them and spun wildly. The two fell at an alarming rate and just as they were about to crash into the ground Lee yelled, "Primary Lotus." Lee then threw the bound Gaara into the arena floor with a mighty crash and a huge plume of dust. Lee landed away from the smoke as the area cleared of smoke and revealed a downed Gaara. That was until he crumbled into sand. Lee got ready hoping that Gaara was worn out from so much sand manipulation. Gaara rose out of the former wall of sand that he erected before Lee used the primary lotus on him. Gaara moved all of the sand that he used back to him and put it back into his gourd. Lee looked perplexed and Gaara decided on humoring him. "I am putting my sand back because I too have gotten serious. My father the Kazakiage was known for the ability to use magnetism to control gold dust. My sand control is not the same ability, it was a gift from my mother who died by my birth. She had a strong connection to the desert and used sand for a strong defensive skill. My magnetism ability is." Gaara paused, biting his middle fingertips and simultaneously wiping the blood on his palms. He lifted his palms showing 2 identical seals on his palms. The seals were in the shape of a diamond and had the kanji for copper in the middle of it. "Copper," Gaara said shooting a wave of the metallic red dust at Lee, who valiantly bobbed and weaved the blasts of the deadly dust. He was outmaneuvered though because of the strain of the primary lotus. Gaara got lucky and hit Lee in the chest. He pushed Lee back to the wall, magnetizing the copper dust to the iron beams that were in the concrete. While he did this he also got his hands and feet. Gaara walked up to Lee opening a hole on the copper and having a copper dust kunai aim for his stomach. "Give up, you have fought valiantly, but you are out of tricks," Gaara said to Lee as he lowered his head. Lee knew he had to bust out his ace, but also knew that if Gaara got away again he would lose. He decided to do it and focused his chakra. Lee regained his first gate appearance and looked up at Gaara, who had backed away from the powering up Lee. First gate of opening open, second gate of healing open, third gate of life open. Lee yelled as he busted out of his restraints. Lee stood still getting used to the power in his body. He looked at Gaara who was releasing a large amount of sand along with more copper. Gaara formed his sand into a full bodysuit and made samurai armor plating on top of that. The helmet was in the shape of Shukaku's head. He even made a spiked tail and had clawed hands. "Red sand spirit Shukaku armor complete," Gaara said just as Lee disappeared. Gaara knew catching Lee now was impossible and hoped his armor would hold up to Lee's deadly blows. Lee appeared behind Gaara and kicked him back into the air. He then basically and bluntly beat the living shit out of Gaara's armor. Lee knew he was running out of time and couldn't go on without hurting himself. Lee jumped up to the beaten down Gaara, who was trying to comprehend his situation, as this was all done in a matter of a couple minutes. Lee put all of his energy into this punch and hit Gaara square in the stomach. Gaara was sent flying, but was pulled back by a bandage Lee wrapped around him. Lee flared his chakra to the max of gate 3 and yelled, "Hidden Lotus." He punched Gaara a second time breaking the sound barrier. Gaara was just a red blur as he was sent crashing into the floor filling the arena with smoke. Lee fell to the ground completely exhausted. As the smoke cleared Gaara was in shambles of his armor in the middle of a 20-foot wide by 5 feet deep crater. Lee got up and limped over to Gaara, hoping he didn't kill such a worthy opponent. He soon regretted this as Gaara's armor turned into a copper dust and sand mix that flew and tackled him to the ground. Gaara rose out of an outline of sand just outside the crater, bloody, and had a broken arm and leg. He held his good hand out ready to crush Lee if he had to. "How did you escape my hidden lotus?" Lee asked weakly. "I got out of my armor just before I hit the ground. I opened up the bottom and rolled out when you were falling," Gaara said as he smiled. "I couldn't have asked for a better fight, Lee. I too have enjoyed our battle," Lee said passing out. "The winner by knockout is Gaara of the desert," Hayate said as the rest of the Sand siblings cheered. The genin gathered on the arena floor after Hayate called them down. He was carrying a box with balls in it. "Okay, you all are the participants of the final in a month's time. You will pick a number ball from the box to decide the order of the fights." Naruto walked up and picked a ball he read 1. The process was repeated. 2 Niji, 3 Hinata, 4 Fu, 5 Kankuro, 6 Shino, 7 Shikamaru, 8 Tamari, 9 Utakata, 10 Kari, 11 Samui, 12 Rausha 2nd Genin, 13 Yujito, 14 Han 2nd Genin, 15 Sasuke, 16 Gaara. Okay, so the order is Naruto vs Neji, Hinata vs Fu, Kankuro vs Shino, Shikamaru vs Tamari, Utakata vs Kari, Samui vs RSG, Yujito vs HSG, Sasuke vs Gaara. Again, the fights will be held at the Chunin Arena in a month's time. Train hard and good luck. Hiruzen said, leaving in a leaf body flicker. The contestants left the forest of death and went their separate ways for their training. Time skip next day. Naruto was walking to the training ground, surprised at the people who were going to fight. He didn't get why most of the other Jinchuriki were here and why the exam results changed, but he just chalked it up as a change from his jump to the past. As Naruto rounded the turn, he saw Hinata sitting on a bench in deep thought. He guessed she was thinking on what to train in for the finals. Again, he let his prankster side work as he wanted to brighten his girlfriend's day. He made a clone and it hinged into a young Naruto. He sent his clone to go talk to Hinata so he could comfort her if she was troubled. Hello Ms. What are you sad about? Asked the clone as he sat on the bench next to Hinata, who smiled at him. Oh, it's nothing, I am just in the finals in the Chunin exams and I don't know what to train in to get better. Hinata said, looking down to the ground. Why do you need to train? You look plenty strong and pretty too. The clone said, getting a blush out of Hinata. Why thank you, but I'm not strong, I am too timid and shy, I don't know why Naruto-kun likes me. Hinata said, tearing up. The clone looked shocked, then poofed out. Just as Hinata was going to say something, Naruto appeared and enveloped her in a tight hug. Hinata, don't say you're weak, you are one of the strongest, most beautiful people I know, don't let anyone tell you different. I'll help you train too, so don't cry please. Naruto said, holding Hinata close. Thank you Naruto-kun. What do you mean helping me, though? I don't want you to waste your time on a weakling like me. Hinata said, eyes still watery. I can teach you the Rasengan with your great chakra control, you could easily get it. Naruto said, looking down at Hinata. Thank you so much Naruto. Hinata said as Naruto body flickered them to training ground 7. Now there are 3 steps to the Rasengan. The first is rotation, the second is power, and the third is mixing steps 1 and 2 while adding shape control. Naruto said as Hinata nodded in understanding. Naruto took a storage scroll out and unrolled it on the ground. He bit his thumb and wiped blood on it, electing it to erupt in smoke. After the smoke cleared, Hinata saw an ice tub filled to the brim with water balloons. Now take a water balloon in your hand and spin your chakra until the balloon pops. Naruto said as Hinata began her training. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto said, making 400 clones. Okay, now I want you 4 to come here. He says, pointing to 4 clones. He paints a alpha, beta, gamma or omega sign on one of the clones. Alright Alpha, you and your group will practice the Hirishin, go. Naruto Alpha took his 99 clones and moved to the north part of the training ground. Beta, you and your group will practice Mom's chakra chains, go. Naruto Beta took his 99 clones and went to the east part of the training ground. Gamma, you and your group will practice the bijuu Dama and bijuu Rasengan, go. Naruto Gamma took his 99 clones and went to the south part of the training ground. Omega, you and your group will think up and practice any new Rasengan variants, go. Naruto Omega took his 99 clones and went to the west part of the training ground. Time skip 9 days later. Whoa, I did it. Naruto yelled as his clones in group alpha dispelled. I can do the Hirishin now, sweet. Naruto then made a Hirishin kunai that was blank. He focused his chakra and poked the handle. His chakra spread in glowing blue lines on the front of the knife. After the light faded in a second, he looked at his mark. It had a swirl made of minuscule seals and 9 lines of seals going off of that. Naruto, impressed with high work, whipped the kunai over the tree line to where Hinata was practicing, adding her affinity to the Rasengan. Hinata's affinity was fire, so Naruto had asked Matatabi to aid her in learning 2 fire jutsus, adding her fire to Jukin, and help her make her own elemental shape Rasengan. Hinata had enough chakra control to make up to 3 shadow clones and do the Rasengan one-handed and feel good enough to fight for at least a couple hours. So there she was with a single clone, almost done with her version 1. Her V1 was the Rasengan with 4 candle flames and 4 little peaks of flame in between. As her fire style. Rasengan stabilizes, her clone fades and she rushes a large elm tree and buries her jutsu into it. Naruto's kunai had landed 10 feet away from where Hinata was standing after she attacked the elm tree and he appeared a second later. Hinata turned to see Naruto walking towards her with a huge smile of pride on his face. Hey Hinata-chan, you did it, you got version 1. Naruto yelled, giving Hinata a hug. Thank you Naruto-kun, but how did you get here so fast? Hinata asked. Well, I got the Hirishin from my clones. Naruto said, downplaying it. Why, you got the Hirishin done, that's great. Hinata said, happily returning Naruto's hug. Time skip 7 days later, Naruto got 2 new Rasengan variants, bijuu Dama and bijuu Rasengan. Aw man, I'm doing everything right. I'm focusing my chakra, imagining chains, and choosing a target. What am I doing wrong? Naruto yelled, punching his left hand. You need to use bijuu chakra to reinforce your own, Kurama says from inside the seal. How do you know? Naruto says back with his mind. When Obito lost his control over me and I fought Minato, Kushina used her remaining chakra to make chains to restrain me, while Minato summoned the Shinigami. Kurama says sadly. Hey, I don't blame you, so don't feel guilty, and thanks for the advice, I'll see you later. Naruto said, getting ready to try again. Naruto focused his chakra and then reinforced it with some bijuu chakra. He then imagined chains and thrust his right hand out. Multicolored chains with kunai tipped ends shot from his palm and wrapped around a large old tree. Naruto turned and pulled, taking the tree with him. The sound of the ground being ripped up ran in the air as the tree was pulled up and over Naruto, landing with a hard dull thud on the ground. Naruto went to inspect his work as his chains faded. He noted that there were burn marks from the intensity of his chakra and made a mental note to practice on more non-living subjects. Naruto was happy though that he had finally mastered both of his parents' famous techniques. Time skip. Last day of training. Naruto arrived to see Hinata waiting for him at the training grounds. What surprised him though was that she changed her wardrobe. She now wore a lavender skirt with black shorts under it, a black form-fitting shirt showing off her well-developing assets, and an open lavender jacket with a hood. All in all, Naruto thought she looked great and was happy that his helping her train and confidence boosts during that training were bringing out her personality more. Hey Hinata-chan, you look great. Naruto said, getting a good pink flush from Hinata. Thank you Naruto-kun, what will we be learning today? Hinata asked. Most didn't know this, but Hinata loved learning more skills for being a ninja, but her family being so specialty-based made this hard for Hinata. Well, we won't train today as tomorrow is the finals, so I thought we could show each other some new jutsu and then go for a lunch date. Naruto said, getting a small blush and smile from Hinata. That sound good Naruto-kun, I'll go first. Hinata said, making a shadow clone. Hinata's constant training made her reserves grow in exponential amounts, that combined with Naruto making seals that would as much as safely possible increase her chakra, gave reserves large enough to make and hold a shadow clone for about half of a day and do some mid-level sparring with Naruto and only be exhausted. Hinata made a Rasengan and her shadow clone added her fire chakra to it. The fire takes its normal shape, but Hinata takes it further, she just pours her chakra into her jutsu, making it expand to the size of a Rasen shuriken. Naruto makes a clone and sends it about 150 yards away as Hinata throws it, guiding it with two stings of chakra, one on top and one on bottom, towards the shadow clone. The jutsu hits and Hinata says, fire style. Rasen Suda, spiraling star. The jutsu hits the clone and detonates into a swirling dome of fiery death. As the memory hits Naruto, he winces then gives a smile of pure joy and pride to Hinata. That was awesome, the dome contained so many explosions that I lost count. Naruto said, beaming and kissing Hinata deeply on her lips. Hinata was shocked but went along with it, enjoying it immensely. Thank you Naruto-kun, so what did you learn when I wasn't around? Hinata asked, giggling. I made a more defensive wind jutsu. Naruto said, baking away a bit. Naruto stands still in a brace stance, molding his wind chakra. It gathers under his feet and slightly lifts him off the ground. It then forms into a sphere around Naruto and stabilizes, making Naruto look like he is in a transparent slightly yellow bubble. He leans forward and goes around at high speeds, hovering off the ground. He stops and motions for Hinata to attack him. Hinata pulls some kunai out from a pouch on her lower back under her jacket. She charges the knives with some chakra and whips them at Naruto. The kunai collide with a wind sphere and get caught in an invisible current, scattering them in different directions. Hinata then takes out one more kunai but charges it with her fire chakra. She throws it at the sphere, but all that changes is the fire makes a popping sound as it hits the sphere. Naruto drops his jutsu and walks back over to Hinata. That was my wind style. Kazagan, wind sphere. It redirects any physical attacks and disperses any chakra weaker than the amount I'm using. That's not to say that more powerful jutsu can't beat it though. Naruto says, smiling. Naruto and Hinata leave the training ground and go out on their lunch date. Again Naruto walks Hinata home and leaves her with a kiss in which she enjoys and fully gives back. Time skip. Finals day at arena. Hello Chunin hopefuls and spectators, Hiruzen Sarutobi, happily announced the first fight. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze against Niji Hyuga. Hiruzen says as the two go to the arena floor. Ready, begin. Genma said, jumping back. Niji rushed Naruto, intending to end the fight quickly. Naruto on the other hand was going to enjoy kicking the shit out of Niji a second time. Niji lashed out with his strikes, aiming for all the major chakra points in Naruto's arms. Naruto coated his hands in chakra and slapped the attempted strikes to his chakra points. Niji and Naruto continued this fast-paced fight until Naruto got in Niji's guard and hit him square in the stomach. Niji staggered backward and heaved, trying to get his breath back. Naruto stood there bored, waiting for Niji. After Niji got himself together, he got into his Juken stance and said, "You are in my field of divination, a trigram 64 palms." The ground lit up in ruins and a yin-yang sign, and Niji charged ready to beat Naruto into the ground. Naruto saw this coming and molded his chakra for the Hirishin. Neji struck out yelling, 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, 64 palms. Naruto had placed Hirishin marks on both of Neji's hands, and as he attacked, Naruto warped to the outside of his hands, disrupting Neji's flow and rhythm. After the attack, Neji was panting, tired from the chakra that he wasted on his failed attack. Naruto hopped back and waited. Just as Neji was about to rush Naruto, chakra chains appeared around Neji and pulled him to the ground. Naruto started clapping and walked up to 2 feet away. You are very skilled, Neji, you really are, but you lack a better purpose for fighting. You fight despite the main branch of the Hyuga, and knowing the 64 palms and the Kaiten would be a big blow to their pride, but what would your father think? He would think that you are shirking your duties in protecting Hinata-chan, that's what. Naruto said, glaring at the Hyuga boy. You know nothing of my father, he was betrayed by the head of the clan because of his status. Neji yelled, hate searing in his eyes. Oh, you mean how when Hinata was 3 and she was kidnapped, Hisashi was chosen to be killed to appease Kumo because Hisashi killed the assailant and Kumo demanded for his blood. Yes, I know of that incident and that the elders used the caged bird seal to force him to go through with it. Well, guess what, he didn't do it because of the seal and he didn't do it because it was his job. He did it to protect his older brother and his little girls, and he hoped that one day you would protect them in his stead because that is not what clan members do, no, that is what family does. Naruto said with a confident smile aimed toward the tearing Neji. Naruto then flashed a very mischievous smile and coated his hands in chakra. He wrote out a large seal made of chakra in the air, then shrunk it down. He then placed it on Neji's caged bird seal, his headband and bandana fell off during the fighting. Naruto put his right index finger on the double seal and held the ram sign with his left. Naruto channeled chakra into the seal that he made and unwove the caged bird seal from Neji. Naruto pulled his finger away, bringing both seals with it and let the chakra fade away. Neji was amazed that this boy knew this young man could get rid of the cursed seal for him. Neji vowed to himself to protect the main branch, especially Lady Hinata and Lady Hanabi. Thank you, Naruto, I will be eternally grateful to you and vow to uphold my father's mission. You are the better ninja and the better man, so I surrender. Neji said, passing out from chakra exhaustion. Medics came and took Neji, and Naruto went to the contestants' booth with clapping and congratulations all around. Genma walked out to the center of the ring and announced the next fight. Will Hinata, Hyuga and Fu please come down? Genma said as the 2 girls jumped down to the arena. Genma raised his hand and said, ready, begin. The 2 stood there eyeing each other until Fu jumped in the air and launched kunai with scale powder bombs attached to them at Hinata. The bombs exploded in a screen of the glittery yellow scales. Hinata activated her Byakugan to see through the powder. Fu had thought it through though and charged her chakra in the powder. Hinata was blinded by the chakra in the powder. She closed her eyes and looked through her eyelids, which dulled the effect of the powder. Hinata saw Fu, who was starting to race around the powder, throwing exploding tags into the haze. Hinata made a shadow clone and replaced with a kunai that she throws out of the smoke screen, hiding from Fu and not being seen except by Jonin. Fu threw exploding tags into the smoke screen she made to blind Hinata and watched as her opponent get consumed on a huge explosion. Once the smoke cleared, Fu couldn't see her opponent at all and wondered why she was gone. Just as Fu was about to tell the proctor, Hinata appeared lashing out at Fu. Hinata struck at Fu's chakra points and after she finished she sent Fu back with a vicious yet graceful roundhouse to Fu's head. Everyone who knew Hinata gasped at such an aggressive assault and nearly broke their necks when Naruto said, "That's my Hinata-chan." Naruto looked to see just about everyone who knew Hinata staring at him with their jaws firmly embedded into the ground. Naruto had his trademark foxy grin and that pretty much said everything. Fu was pissed, she was pissed that she was tricked and she was pissed because that apparently not so shy and timid girl just kicked her in the head. Fu was ready to win now and wouldn't be surprised by anything else now. She charged her wind chakra into her hands and yelled, "Ninja art. Fan slash." 2 white and yellow blades of wind were sent screaming at Hinata. Hinata though knew that wind's weakness is fire and she was going to enjoy showing her opponent and her father that she was not weak anymore. Hinata made a shadow clone again, surprising everyone, and started her fire style. Rasengan. After it stabilized, she sped off towards the wind slashes that had combined into an X shape. Hinata thrust her attack forward and met the wind attack head-on. Fu was smirking, thinking Hinata was just going to get the recoil from the explosion, but when she saw her attack get sucked into that swirling ball of chakra with some sort of fiery construct, wait, fiery, that jutsu is made of fire chakra which gets stronger with wind chakra, crap, she was too tired to move. Hinata kept running, her newly empowered Rasengan being trailed by a tornado made of fire, but what she saw in her opponent's eyes was defeat and she knew she won. Hinata stopped and held her jutsu out away from herself. After a few seconds she let it fade. The 2 girls stood there until Hinata said, "Do you give up?" Fu looked shocked that her opponent was acting out of mercy and just nodded, falling from chakra exhaustion. Medics came and picked Fu up and took her away, but before she was gone she said, "Let's have a rematch sometime." Hinata nodded, happy to find that she could connect with someone so quick. Maybe Naruto had rubbed off on her a little. Hinata got a huge hug from Naruto and many congratulations even from her father and sister. Genma stepped out again and announced the next fight. Will Shino, Abram and Kankuro of the sand come down? Just as Shino was going to go down, Kankuro gave up. Okay, then will Shikamaru, Nara and Temari of the sand come down? Temari glided down on her fan and Shikamaru was pushed off the railing by Naruto, who knew the Nara would have given up too. Ready, begin. Temari had to jump back as Shikamaru extended his shadow towards her. After the shadow hit its limit, Temari did her line in the sand that she did before. Temari began to send wind blasts at the lazy Nara, who valiantly hid behind a large tree to think of a plan. Okay, I can't get her with my shadow from the front and she won't let me go anywhere. So maybe getting her to come to me will work. Shikamaru finalized his plan and set it in motion. Shikamaru sent 3 kunai into the air with parachutes tied to the back of them and walked out in front of the tree he was hiding behind. Temari saw his and said with a smirk, "You going to surrender or do I have to tear this arena apart?" Shikamaru completely broke his usual attack pattern and rushed the blonde. Everyone else wondered why Shikamaru was breaking his pattern, only Jonin could see the brilliance in his plan though. The sudden threat of her opponent came to Temari's senses and she started to send blasts of air out at the Nara. Shikamaru was bobbing and weaving through the air attacks and saw that his plan was coming together as the shadows of the parachutes dotted the ground. Shikamaru extended his shadow as he passed the first dot and directed it to one farther away from Temari and then to one behind her. Temari was getting frustrated that she couldn't hit the Nara and knew that it might get to a taijutsu fight, not to say she wasn't any good at taijutsu, but her specialty was long-range ninjutsu. Shikamaru extended his shadow from behind Temari and stopped her in her tracks. Temari was going to let out a huge air blast when she froze. She looked down and saw her shadow was going the wrong way and deduced that she was caught in the Nara's jutsu. Shikamaru reached behind his back and pulled out a kunai, but he held its blade, but Temari was forced to mimic him and had the blade pointed at her throat. "Surrender or you will get hurt," Shikamaru said, slowly making Temari's kunai inch toward her throat. "Alright, I give," Temari said, huffing at her defeat. After they went back up, Genma came out and announced the next fight. Will Utakata and Carrie come down? The2 jumped down from the contestants' booth and faced each other. Ready, begin. Utakata started out with his usual ninja art. Exploding bubbles. The immediate area around him was covered in bubbles. Crap, if the name means anything then those bubbles could be a problem. I'll just have to get to him before he can react, Carrie thought as she drew her katana. Kumo style. Cloud cutter. Carrie said, weaving around the bubbles while lightning was trailing her sword. Utakata met her charge with his bubbles, but she was too fast. "Fine, if you can get through my trap I'll just push you back in," Utakata said, making hand signs. Water style. Water whip. Utakata made a whip of water and lashed it at the Kumo-nin. Carrie was side-swiped into a large patch of the exploding bubbles and was knocked unconscious. The winner by KO is Utakata. Genma said as medics got Carrie and Utakata went back to the contestants' booth. Will Samui and Krillin, Raushi's student, come down? The two came down and Genma said, ready, begin. Krillin charged at Samui, who was playing it cool. He had gathered the rocks on the ground with his chakra and said, earth style. Stone shards. A massive sharp chakra enhanced stones shot at Samui. Lightning style. Plasma wall. Samui said, erecting a wall of lightning in front of her to incinerate the stones. Ninja art. Ion lance. The wall of lightning narrowed and shot at the surprised Iwa Genin. The shock of the lightning knocked him out. Winner Samui by KO, Genma said as the Iwa Genin was taken to the medics and Samui went to the stands. Will Chibaka, hand student and Yujito Nai come down? The two jumped to the floor. Ready, begin. Chibaka pulled out a bow gun and said, earth style. Yeti fangs. He shot out large stone claws at Yujito, who was waiting for it with a smirk. Fire style. Mouse hairball. The flaming blue mouse incinerated the claws and split into many more smaller faster fireballs, which hit and burned the Iwa Genin. He was still standing though, so Yujito said, ninja art. Cat scratch jutsu. Yujito's nails grew about 5 inches and she disappeared from sight. She reappeared low in front of Chibaka and did a slicing upper scratch to his already burned chest. This knocked the Genin out. Winner Yujito Nai by KO, Genma said as medics got the boy and Yujito went to the stands. Will Sasuke, Chiha and Gaara of the desert come down? The two jumped down and Genma said, ready, begin. Gaara struck first, lashing his sand out at Sasuke. Sasuke was too fast and dodged with relative ease. He then backflipped out of range of the tendrils and jumped into the air. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Sasuke exhaled a large fireball at the Suna Genin and it was blocked by the sand. Sasuke scoffed and decided to make the match short. He ran at the wall doing hand signs. He leapt up the wall and turned sucking in air, fire style. Dragon Flame Jutsu. A monstrous jet of fire shot at the sand genin. Gaara released his copper and mixed it with his sand, creating a copper sand dome around himself, with his third sand eye floating above it. Sasuke smirked and did another set of hand signs. Ninja art. Shock impact jutsu. Sasuke was then charged with electricity shown by the streaks randomly going across his body. He didn't stop there, he started hand signs that most jonin knew well. Chidori. The chirping sound filled the stadium and was enhanced by the lightning already flowing around the last Uchiha. Sasuke ran back to the ground dredging a long rip in the wall. When he hit the ground a sonic boom was heard as he rocketed toward the copper sand dome made by Gaara. Gaara saw this with his sand eye and sent a tendril of the mix at the Uchiha. Sasuke had activated his Sharingan on the way down the wall and sidestepped the obstacle. He jabbed his Chidori hand into the dome and into Gaara's self-mix armor. A huge light flashed and Gaara was seen panting on one knee similar to Sasuke who was on his knees too. Genma checked the two and confirmed they were both out of chakra. Due to the extreme amount of chakra lost this match ends in a tie. The crowd cheered at the show and Sasuke and Gaara nodded to each other in a sign of respect. The next fight will be Hinata Hyuga and Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, please come down. Genma said prompting the young couple to go the arena floor. This is perfect Hinata-chan, you can fully show off while we fight and show that you are a strong and beautiful Kunoichi. Naruto said getting a small blush and nod from Hinata. Begin. Genma said. Naruto motioned for Hinata to charge him and she did, with a shadow clone making hand signs for a fire jutsu. Hinata's clone shot out a car-sized fireball at Naruto who jumped over it. He had to duck afterward to dodge the 3 kunai thrown at him by the original. Naruto quickly sent chakra to his limbs as Hinata began her Taijutsu assault on her boyfriend. Hinata was like a blur and Naruto thought to himself damn, maybe giving her restriction training with Kurama, Matatabi, and Chame-chan was a bad idea. Hinata was immensely more successful than Neji and got Naruto in about 22 of his chakra points. Naruto was starting to feel the after effect of Hinata's attack and disengaged from her by sending a surprisingly strong left snap kick to her side. As Naruto and Hinata caught their breath Naruto said, "You are doing great Hinata-chan, but let's get to the final show shall we?" Naruto got a nod from Hinata and both stood straight. Hinata took a stance and said, "Gentle step." Twin lion fist. Hinata's hands lit up in ethereal blue chakra flames that took the shape of lioness heads. Naruto went into Kurama's cloak and activated his Kazagan, but only had it around 2 feet in diameter around his left arm. He also pulled out the Raijin no Ken and activated the lightning blade. He took a stance as he remembered going to Zabuza and Haku before the tournament. Flashback, "Hey Haku, can I ask you and Zabuza something?" Naruto asked after Haku answered the door from his knocking. "Sure Naruto, what do you need?" The feminine boy asked as they walked into the living room where Zabuza was sharpening some ninja tools. "I got this in the second stage of the Chunin exams and wanted to train on how to use it," Naruto said pulling out Raijin no Ken. "Oh man kid, where did you get that sword? It is rival to even the 7 swords of the mist," Zabuza said with a surprised and odd look on his visible face. "Some traitor had this and I took it from him," Naruto said after a second. "Alright, well what do you want us to do?" Haku asked. "Train me in how to use this and help me get my reaction time faster with the Hirishin if you would," Naruto asked getting a surprised look for how polite he was. "Okay kid, you have a deal," Zabuza said getting a nod from Naruto. A week later. "Hey guys, I got something to tell you," Naruto said nervously. "What is it kid? It looks like the Shinigami has ya, so spill it," Zabuza said. WELL explanation from the future inserted here specifically about them with a small overview of the rest of the war. "Well that is a very enlightening dose Lord Hokage no?" Haku asked after getting over the shock. "Not all of it, but I was planning to tell him after the exams," Naruto said. "Alright then, with that off your chest the rest of your training can be kicked up a couple notches," Zabuza said chuckling evilly. And Naruto and Hinata charged. Hinata swung her flaming lion fist at Naruto who blocked with his Kazagan shield. This continued for about another minute until Hinata jumped back in frustration. "How is Naruto-kun this good with that shield and what is that sword?" Naruto was giving a small but incredibly proud smile that his Hinata-chan was not holding back, but he knew she could go farther. "Hey Hinata-chan, let's finish this," Naruto said excitedly releasing the wind chakra making his shield and going into an offensive sword stance. Hinata nodded. "Fire style. Blazing lioness barrage," Hinata said changing her blue chakra lioness heads to ones made of fire and doubling their size. Hinata jumped into the air and sent a flurry of the flaming lioness heads at Naruto, who slashed through them like butter. Naruto surprised Hinata with a burst of speed and appeared behind her. Hinata turned around and gave Naruto a brutal uppercut, knocking him out of Kurama's cloak. She gasped and let her fire fists fade and rushed to see if Naruto was okay. When she knelt down to grab him, Naruto opened his eyes and mouthed, "Boom." He exploded into seals and wrapped around Hinata like a horde of snakes. Naruto appeared from behind a tree as Hinata bowed in defeat. The young couple kissed lightly as they walked back to the contestants' booth after Genma declared Naruto the winner. Just as Genma was about to announce the next match, boom, smoke rose from the village and people in the stands screamed. "What the hell?" Naruto asked as he heard the explosion. "All Jonin class ninja follow me to the site, now," the Hokage said, getting nods all around. Naruto, the Jonin, Jiraiya, and the Hokage blurred in a burst of speed to the site of the explosion. Once they got there they instantly knew what was going on. The explosion was from the interrogation department where Orochimaru was being held. "Hey, I got a trail, let's go," Naruto said as he could feel their negative emotions, so the group went after the people who rescued the snake. The group jumped into a clearing and saw their prey. Prey though isn't the word that should be associated with the Akatsuki. The art duo, the zombie brothers and Zetsu, were just about to jump with the now unrestrained Orochimaru, Sound 4-Taiya, and Kabuto. Naruto, knowing the future, jumped to attack them when a huge explosion hit him from thin air. Naruto landed and threw a Hirishin kunai at Deidara, who let it pass him, but had to replace with a tree branch as Naruto appeared in Gyuki's cloak with a fully charged lariat thrown. "What the hell, brat? You don't just try and attack an S-rank nuke nin." Jiraiya yells after Naruto jumps back to the group of Konoha ninja. "These guys are a huge part of the problem I told you about, pervy sage," Naruto said, letting his anger at the Akatsuki show. "Shit, then we had better take them out," Jiraiya said, going through hand signs. "Fire style. Grand fireball jutsu," Jiraiya said, shooting a monstrous fireball at the nuke nin. Kakuzu holds a hand sign and shoots a huge torrent of water from his mouth to block the fireball. Orochimaru did some hand signs and then slammed his hands to the ground. After a puff of smoke, Manda, the head of the snake summons, appeared and looked at this prey. When he saw Jiraiya he did a very good impression of a psychotic smile and said, "Orochimaru, you must have wanted me in a good mood today because you have the toad summoner among the vermin here. Eating him will be a huge blow to the toads, so I will settle for Thes ninja instead of my normal 100 sacrifices." Manda struck at the Konoha ninja. Naruto growled, "We don't have time for this. Bijuu art. Bijuu Dama." Naruto focused his and his partner's chakra into an extremely dense orb and fired it at the Lord of Snakes. A nuclear-like explosion rocked the forests of Fire Country. Manda was desummoned in an instant. Everyone who thought they knew Naruto were shocked. The number one, noisy, knucklehead ninja, Dope, just used a Bijuu's best attack. Holy shit. Damn the kid, don't just show off your power, you'll be easier to capture. Jiraiya yelled, getting looks from everyone, especially Hiruzen. "They didn't get me before, so they definitely won't get me now." Naruto growled, seeing that the Akatsuki got away. A few minutes later with the Shinobi Council. "Okay Naruto, Jiraiya, what do you want to tell us?" Hiruzen said with no hint of amusement. "Well, it goes like this." Naruto began after explaining how he went with Jiraiya for 2 years. "Where I come from, the world is in the 4th Great Ninja War and those guys are responsible by collecting the Bijuu. I with the containers of Shukaku and Gyuki were the last free Jinchuriki, but Shukaku was sealed, so it was just his host fighting. The 5 great nations had band together to fight this threat." Naruto finished. "Who was the Hokage?" Hiruzen asked. "Tsunade Bachan was old man. Orochi team had you fight your predecessors and you sacrificed yourself with the Shiki Fuin to take his arms away," Naruto said, looking down. "Also Nagato Uzumaki destroys the village under the name Pain and the Uchiha incident is brought to light and the part Danzo and his root had to play in it," Naruto said, getting alarmed looks from the council and Hiruzen. "So all that happened in a course of a few months after your trip?" Hiruzen asked. "Yes." Naruto finished. "Well, now that we have that straightened out, what do you want to do? You have the most information on what will happen these next few years, so what will it be?" Hiruzen asked. "Well, I would like to propose an alliance with the other countries. We can have the meeting in the Land of Iron like before and I wish to get Itachi back as well as Nagato. Also there are some valuable people that I would like to collect," Naruto said in a serious manner that surprised everyone. "Okay, you and Jiraiya can leave when you are ready, also get Tsunade, we may need her soon," Hiruzen said, getting a nod from both ninja. Time skip next day. "Okay pervy sage, let's go," Naruto said as the two blurred in a burst of speed from the gate. After about 4 hours of silence and tree hopping, Jiraiya spoke. "Hey, kid?" Jiraiya asked. "Yeah, what's up?" Naruto replied. "You never told what happened to me in the future," Jiraiya said with a look that said no bullshit. "Well, you were digging around in the Rain Village and eventually fought Nagato and Konan," Naruto said, looking down. "What, you look like I died?" Jiraiya trailed off. "You went into sage mode and fought overwhelming odds, but Nagato was just too good and he killed you," Naruto said, barely holding his tears. "Hey, it's alright, I wouldn't have regretted dying like that," Jiraiya said, trying to cheer his godson up. "Well, you carved a message onto Fukasaku-sensei's back explaining his weakness and you killed one of his 6 paths," Naruto said, calming down. "Well, that's good, what did you do to beat him?" Jiraiya asked. You had me sign the Toad contract and I completed Sage training right as Nagato attacked. I used it the majority of the fight, then Hinata got hurt trying to save me when he had me trapped. I snapped and went into a six-tailed stage of Kurama's cloak and continued to fight like that. As the fight wore on I went into 8 tails mode and almost 9, but then dad talked to me and fixed the seal. Naruto said gauging Jiraiya's reaction. Damn kid, remind me to never really piss you off. Also do you still want to sign the Toad contract? Jiraiya asked. Yeah sure and summon Fukasaku-sensei. Naruto said excitedly. Jiraiya summoned the contract Toad and Fukasaku. Hey old man this is Naruto, Minato's son. Oh is he going to sign the contract? Fukasaku asked. Yeah I am. Naruto said happily. Okay kid you know what to do. Jiraiya said handing Naruto the scroll. Naruto opened the scroll to the space next to his father's and bit his thumb. He signed his name in blood and put his fingerprints down. Once that was done he rolled it back up and gave the scroll back to Jiraiya. As Fukasaku was about to leave Naruto put up a wait sign. Naruto did the hand signs and said, summoning jutsu. Naruto slammed his hand on the ground and 5 puffs of smoke appeared. Naruto had slammed his hands on the ground summoning. Gamma Bunta, Gamma Ken, Gamma Hero, Gamma Kichi and Gamma Tatsu. When I talk about the Toads, I'll use just their names, not Gamma to shorten it. Hey what's going on here why were we all summoned? Bunta asked as the last of the smoke cleared. Hopefully we'll get some good snacks. Tatsu said rubbing his belly. I hope I'll be okay I'm a little ungraceful. Ken said in his depressed voice. Hey don't worry bro you'll do fine. Hiro said. Yeah Uncle Hiro is right, Uncle Ken oh hey Gigi. Kichi said seeing Fukasaku. Gigi. Tatsu said as the 2 young toads hopped over to the elder toad. Hello boys. Fukasaku said hugging his grandkids. Naruto why did you summon the kids? Jiraiya asked. They become my closest friends among the toads so I wanted to rebond with them. Naruto said getting a nod from the super pervert. Who are you? Bunta asked not recognizing Naruto. I'm Minato and Kushina's son Naruto. Naruto said getting a smirk from the boss of the toads. Oh yeah Kushina was pregnant and you look like a carbon copy of Minato. Are you going to be our new summoner like your father was? Bunta asked. Yeah, but I want to show you guys something first. Naruto said clapping his hands. After some time Fukasaku gasps as Naruto gains orange ovals over his closed eyes. Jiraiya how can this kid use nature chakra without training? Fukasaku asked as Naruto opened his eyes showing yellow irises with horizontal bar pupils. Naruto and Jiraiya give them the future talk as the toads nodded. We are happy that we became so close to you Naruto and we hope that we will again. Fukasaku said getting nods all around. Thanks guys and tell Shima-bachan that when we have some free time we'll visit. Naruto said as the toads disappear. Jiraiya and Naruto go straight to Tanzakugai Naruto, knowing that Tsunade and Shizune would end up there. After a couple days Jiraiya feels Tsunade's chakra in a bar as the two were walking around town. Hey kid. Jiraiya said. What's up? Naruto said. I can feel Tsunade's chakra signature in that bar. Jiraiya says pointing to it. Alright let's go. Naruto says quickly walking towards it. As the two walk in Jiraiya immediately finds her. Hey Tsunade. Jiraiya says as the busty blonde looks to him. Jiraiya how in hell did you find me and who is the kid? Tsunade slurs as she looks at the two drunkenly. Naruto smirks knowing how to push Tsunade's buttons. What old lady too drunk to recognize me? Naruto says giving a knowing smirk to Jiraiya who was giving him a questioning look. What did you say? Tsunade asks in a deadly voice looking at Naruto with blurry eyes. I said you're an old lady. Naruto says smirking. That's it outside I'm going to show you some manners. Tsunade yells walking out the door. Naruto smiles knowing full well how to beat her. Jiraiya-sama please stop this that boy will get hurt. Shizune says as the two follow them out. Nah the kid knows what he is doing and besides if he tries he could probably beat me and Sarutobi-sensei fighting together. Jiraiya says getting a shocked look from Shizune. Naruto and Tsunade were standing across from each other. While Naruto was standing, Tsunade was swaying from the alcohol in her system. Naruto got in a stance which prompted Tsunade to get in a sloppy drunk version of her stance. I'll give you one more chance, apologize and you won't get hurt. Tsunade said. Not in a million years granny. Naruto said pissing Tsunade off even more. Tsunade charged Naruto and threw a devastating haymaker, but was surprised when Naruto not only wasn't hit he caught her punch. No one has ever caught a chakra punch from her, but then she noticed his eyes. Naruto kept a shadow clone back at the hotel to keep an eye on their stuff and told it to gather nature chakra after Jiraiya told him he sensed Tsunade. Naruto smirked, gripped Tsunade's fist and threw her over his shoulder like a sack of rocks. Shizune was in shock, as far as she knew Tsunade was the strongest person alive, so seeing a boy no more than 13 not only block but catch her master's punch was mind-boggling. Tsunade got up off the ground immediately sobered up knowing that Naruto was a real threat. She looked at Jiraiya who was looking at Naruto with a calculating gaze. She rarely saw her old teammate serious, but when she did it counted. "Okay kid, spill, who are you?" Tsunade asked, still on guard. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze and I, with Iro Sennin, are under orders to bring you and Shizune back to Konoha," Naruto said in a serious tone. "Why would I go back to that place? It has taken all that is precious to me," Tsunade yelled. "Because if you don't, I'll unleash the wrath of my bijuu on your ass, and you're nothing like the Shadame," Naruto said, letting his sage mode fade. Tsunade was instantly nervous. She could still remember how her grandfather fought the Kyuubi and barely survived. If this kid could control it, then she was screwed. "Alright, we'll go with you, this is one of the best gambling towns in the Fire Country and I don't want it destroyed," Tsunade said, easing up. She nodded to Shizune as the four went to the hotel room they were staying at. Once they were packed, there wasn't much, they headed to the town gate and met up with Naruto's clone, who had packed Naruto and Jiraiya's stuff with storage scrolls. After leaving the town behind, Tsunade got close to Jiraiya and spoke. "Okay, who is that kid and how can he not only catch my chakra punch, but control the Kyuubi?" Tsunade said, giving a look to Jiraiya. "He is my student and you'll get the full story after you talk to sensei," Jiraiya said, leaving Tsunade with too many questions. After about 3 days walking, the four were on the outskirts of village territory. The reason for this is that Tsunade kept them going slow, asking Jiraiya questions. Naruto had apologized for his actions and said that it was the only way he knew to get her and Shizune to come with. Naruto was going for a morning walk when his senses went off. Naruto replaced with a log just in time to dodge a hail of shuriken and kunai that would have incapacitated him. Naruto looked to see Itachi and kiss him on a tree branch. "Hello Naruto, do you know who I am?" Itachi asked in his low tone. "Yes I do Itachi, and I have a message for you. The new Uchiha clan plan has been cancelled. The old man wants you back in the village," Naruto says in a serious manner as Itachi stares wide-eyed at him. Itachi did the deed that night to prevent war in Konoha and had planned for Sasuke to kill him, but he and the Sandaime had made an arrangement that if the village was in dire peril, he would return and fight for the village. So naturally he was shocked to hear that he was being called back in. He didn't understand, though he and Kisame snuck into the village and it seemed fine, so why did the Sandaime call him in? Only he and the Sandaime knew about this order, so he decided that it would be better safe than sorry to go with Naruto. "Okay Naruto, I'll go back with you," Itachi said, shocking Kisame. When Kisame met Itachi, he had asked him how he became a Nukenin so young, and with zero hesitation or regret, he said he had slaughtered his entire clan. Now Kisame was a powerful guy. He was nicknamed the Tailless-Tailed Beast, but damn, to kill off all of your relatives in one night no less, and not have so much as a scratch, that's pretty damn impressive. So with that knowledge, Kisame wisely jumped away from Itachi, who turned to look at him, but before the two could talk, Naruto butted in. "Hey Kisame, you became a Nukenin with Zabuza Mamachi by trying to assassinate the Yandere Mizukage, right?" Naruto asked, thinking quickly. "Yeah, what of it?" Kisame asked. "Well, Zabuza has safe refuge in Konoha with his apprentice Haku. You could join us and be safe from the Hidden Mist village like they are," Naruto said, getting a shocked look from Kisame. "Why should I believe you about Zabuza though? You could be leading me there to capture me. Not that I'm worried about that though, it would just kind of suck sitting in a prison cell until Akatsuki came and got me," Kisame said with a shrug. "Believe me or not, they are there and they are safe, so do what you want, but me and Itachi gotta go," Naruto says, tensing as Kisame shifts. "Nah, I like being able to tear people apart freely, so no thanks," Kisame says, giving a toothy grin. Kisame nods to Itachi, who nods back and water body flickers away. "How well I tried," Naruto said, looking down. "Yes you did, and that is what counts," Itachi said as the two continue down the trail. The two arrive back at the camp as Naruto just nods to Jiraiya. As the group gets going, Naruto quietly tells Itachi his story and what he plans to do. Itachi accepts it and says that he is happy to return home. After a couple of hours walking, the five travelers stop to see the gates to Konoha. As they were about to move, Naruto holds his hand up. "People will freak if they see Itachi, so let me summon a messenger toad and let the old man know to have his office clear so I can take Itachi there with the Hirshin," Naruto says. "Good thinking kid, I'll leave it to you then, let's go," Jiraiya says as he, Tsunade and Shizune continue on to the gate. "Summoning jutsu," Naruto says after biting his thumb, doing the signs, and slamming his hands on the ground. Kichi appears. "Hey Nai-sen, what's up?" Kichi asks. "Not much, but could you tell the old man the Hokage to clear his office for me?" Naruto asks. "Sure, do you have the snacks?" Kichi asks as Naruto pulls out a small bag of candy. "Yeah, here, and hurry, we are on the clock," Naruto says as Kichi speed hops into the village. After 15 minutes, Kichi comes back and Naruto dispels him. Naruto puts his hand on Itachi's shoulder and the two flashed away. Not even a blink later, Naruto and Itachi arrived in the old Hokage's office. After pleasantries were done, the meeting began. "Itachi, I know that I sent you on that mission and I am truly sorry that you had to do it, but you saved the village and for that I am eternally grateful," Hiruzen said, nodding. Thank you Hokage-sama, and it was right for the village, so I have little regret. Itachi said nodding to the Hokage. I can safely guess that Naruto told you the situation. The old Hokage asked. Yes, and I want him there when I talk to Sasuke. Also you should know Danzo had a part in it. Itachi said getting a nod from the Hokage. Yes, Naruto told me and I talked with Danzo about it while you were away. He was doing what he thought was right at the time, but he is imprisoned for his actions. He will be released in time, but now I must ask for your services. Hiruzen said looking to Naruto. Yeah, well we have Taiya, but I still need to get Karen, Sujetsu, Jugo, and Nagato and Kanan. Naruto said looking at Itachi. We will need to bring Sasuke, Pervy Sage, and Zabuza with us to convince them, but Jugo presents a problem. He was convinced by Sasuke last time because Sasuke was the replacement for Kimimaro. I don't know any way else except to help Jugo with his urges. Naruto says getting questioning looks from the older ninja. Jugo is the source of the curse mark. He has a Kage Genkai that allows him to freely use nature chakra, but since no one has taught him properly he went mad with the bloodlust. Naruto said getting accepting looks from the two. Alright then we will proceed to do this soon, but first we need to instate Tsunade as Hokage. She took over the hat before she will do it again. Hiruzen said getting nods from the younger ninja. Okay, but let me be there with you when you tell her, so that I can prove it. Naruto says getting an okay from the old Hokage. Well we still need to tell Sasuke about Itachi being back and the truth about what happened. Hiruzen said getting a nod from Itachi. I will talk with him tonight, just have some Anbu put a chakra restriction barrier around us when we do. Itachi said getting a negative from Hiruzen. We can talk here, I need to apologize to him from keeping the truth from him for so long. Hiruzen said nodding to Itachi. Alright, well get it done soon because the faster we get those people the faster we can fortify the village and call the Cage Summit. Arachi team saw Miyushu Kaku's sand manipulation and would have told Tobi as soon as he could. Naruto said nodding. Well I have to find Bushy Brows, I want to give him something. Naruto said using the Hiruzen to leave the office. Call Sasuke Uchiha in, tell him I need to talk to him. Hiruzen said pushing the talk button for his receptionist. With Naruto, after leaving the Hokage's office chakra, dashed to training ground 9 to find Lee. As he got close he heard Lee sparring with Neji. Naruto smiled at that. Lee was a master of hard work and deserved a break for once. Hey guys, what's up? Naruto said coming into the clearing where Team Guy was. Hello, Naruto, what brings you here on this youthful day? Lee said as the 4 members of Team 9 turned to him. Well Lee, I can help you with your chakra problem. I can't give you instant control, but I can give you a way to use more than just the gates. Naruto said getting a gasp out of Lee. How could you do that Naruto? Ten asked surprised. I can give Lee a seal that opens his chakra coils to normal levels so that he could use more chakra and not get so much of a backlash from the gates. Naruto says gaining a smile from Lee. Thank you Naruto, you have fires of youth that burn hotter than the sun. Lee says smiling. Okay, well we can do this right now if you want. Naruto said happy that he could help his friend. Okay, what do you need me to do? Lee asked. Well take the top half of your jumpsuit off, I need to draw the seal on your upper body. Naruto says as Lee complies. Okay, now sit while I set up the barrier. Lee sits in a lotus position waiting for Naruto who lays down some chakra-made seals on the ground around Lee. Once he was done Naruto began to paint small intricate and complicated seals. This took about half an hour and when he finished Naruto was proud of himself that he did such complicated work so fast. Naruto put his sealing stuff away and motioned for Lee to stand up. Okay Lee, now brace yourself, this might hurt. Naruto said having Lee nod. Naruto went through an uncountable amount of hand signs exceptionally fast, then clapped. Lee lit up an aura of blue as the seals bonded with his chakra pathways. Lee yelled at the initial shock of pain, but was silent as the new fire of chakra coursed through his body. After a couple minutes the lights and seals faded and Lee fell back on his butt. Wow, that stung a little bit, but now I feel much better than before. Lee said getting up. Naruto after catching his breath went in his pouch on his thigh and pulled out some chakra litmus paper. Here Lee, try channeling some chakra into this. Naruto said as Lee took the paper and did as Naruto said. After a second the paper crinkled then exploded in a small confetti shower. Well the crinkle was lightning and splitting is wind, so together they make swift release. Naruto says getting a questioning look from Lee. Swift release is pretty much super speed. One can dodge any physical attacks and deliver strikes quicker than the eye can see. Naruto said getting a huge grin from Lee and a face palm from Neji and Ten. What? Naruto asked seeing this. Well Lee was a speed demon before and now with this he will be unmatched in speed. Ten said getting a nod from Neji. Well we'll see about that. Naruto said looking at Lee. Oh you are on my friend. Lee said as the two got in a running stance. Great, well first on to the Hokage monument and back wins, ready? Neji asks as the two power up. Lee gets some green aura that looks like wind and lightning mixed. Naruto goes into Kurama's bijuu mode. Go. Neji yells as two sonic booms sound as the two disappear. Naruto was a bullet of yellow and Lee was a bullet of green as the two twisted and turned around each other tearing up the street. As the two got close to the monument they jumped over it and landed on the plateau behind the heads. They skidded and turned at the same time. They kicked off again just before they hit the edge and disappeared again. The two raced back just as fast and created whirlwinds every time they stepped. As they got close to the training grounds Lee's green faded and Naruto passed the finish line drawn in the ground. After the two caught their breath Naruto patted Lee on the back. "Bushy brows, you would have had me if you didn't lose your hold on your swift release," Naruto said getting a smile from Lee. "After I have mastered my new bloodline we will spar and race Naruto," Lee said with excitement. "Yeah we will bushy brows, yeah we will," Naruto said as he walked off to go home. As Sasuke walked into the Hokage's office he noticed that there weren't any Anbu around and a silencing barrier went up around the room as the doors closed. "Hello Hokage-sama, you wanted to speak with me?" Sasuke asked as Hiruzen nodded. "That I did Sasuke, and what I'm about to tell you is an S-rank secret," Hiruzen said as Sasuke paid more attention to the old Hokage. "On the night of your clan's slaughter a coup d'etat was planned by the head of the Uchiha clan and its elders. The elders and I wanted to keep the peace and tried to reason with them, but they wanted to rule the village. Now not all of the Uchiha wanted this, your mother especially was against this, but Fugaku wanted to fight. So a decision was made by the council to have Itachi kill the ones who planned the coup," Hiruzen said as Sasuke's senses went off and he turned around to see Itachi there. "But a man in a mask came and killed the rest of them, he left before I could kill him and killed mother in front of you. As you walked in the door a Genjutsu was cast and you saw me instead. It broke when you left the house and saw me on the pole. I told you to hate me and to kill me because I had failed in my mission and couldn't handle the grief that came with it. So I wanted you to kill me and take revenge on the masked man after," Itachi said as tears fell from his eyes. "Naruto was confronted by Itachi when he went looking for my other student and told him the plan was cancelled. Naruto told you about his future and that Itachi wasn't to blame and this is why. That masked man was the one truly responsible and now you know," Hiruzen said as Sasuke's eyes were shadowed by his hair. "Alright, say that I forgive all of this secrecy, what will we do about this masked man?" Sasuke asks looking at the old Hokage. "Naruto, Jiraiya, Itachi, Zabuza and yourself will go collect some people that Naruto think are important," Hiruzen says getting a nod from Sasuke. "Okay, I'm sure Naruto will get us soon to go so I will go prepare. Are you coming Nai-san?" Sasuke asked looking at Itachi. Itachi looked at Hiruzen who nodded. "Yes Sasuke, I'm coming." The Uchiha brothers left for their compound. After walking in Itachi turned to Sasuke. "Sasuke, I know that you still have some hatred for me. Nai-san, I do, but you can start making it up to me by having a real spar like brothers should," Sasuke said after interrupting Itachi. Itachi smiled as Sasuke went out the back door into the yard. The two took stances and Itachi motioned for Sasuke to start. Sasuke went through some hand signs and said, "Shock Impact Jutsu." Sasuke got charged with lightning and raced at Itachi. Itachi was careful to dodge or block with chakra-laced limbs when Sasuke attacked. Sasuke didn't let up in the slightest and Itachi had a small proud smile for his little brother who wasn't so little anymore as it would take more than a poke to the forehead to stop him now. Sasuke did a back roundhouse kick that Itachi ducked under until Sasuke with his lightning-charged reflexes followed through with a rising right knee that hit Itachi in the chest, throwing the ex-Akatsuki member on his ass. Sasuke dropped his jutsu and went over to Itachi, holding his hand out for his older brother to grab as he pulled Itachi to his feet. The two shared a brotherly smile and went back to clean up as the spar had lasted for over an hour. Next day with Naruto. Naruto had done his morning routine and then went to pack a storage scroll he bought for long travel. He packed for about a month and then made shadow clones to tell the rest of his group to be at the gate in 2 hours. Naruto went to Ichiraku's for a meal. As he sat down AM walked over to him. "Hey Naruto-kun, what's up?" The girl asked getting out a large bowl since she knew of Naruto's appetite. "Nothing much AM-chan, just going out on a mission today and won't be back for a month, so I wanted some gift from Kami-sama ramen and to see you and the old man before I left," Naruto said getting a smile from the girl. "Well thank you and I hope you have a safe mission and come back hungry." Dad continuously brags to the other shop owners that the next Hokage eats so much at his restaurant. AM says getting a foxy grin from Naruto. "Well tell him thanks and that he is getting a national advertising ad when I take that hat," Naruto said getting a happy nod from AM as she served him his favorite food. After Naruto finished he paid for his meal he waved goodbye to AM as he walked toward the gate. After some time Sasuke and Itachi showed up. Itachi was hinged as only the ninja Chunin rank or higher were notified of his return. "Hey Sasuke, Itachi," Naruto said as the two walked up. "Naruto?" Sasuke said. "Hello Naruto," Itachi replied. "So I take it you two are on the mend?" Naruto asked with a cocky smirk. Yes, after a spar Sasuke and I are doing better. Itachi said as his younger brother HN'd. But that means that I won't have to intervene if Sasuke gets mad. Naruto said, getting Itachi to smirk and Sasuke to glare at him. Do you think that you can beat me without your bijuu powers, dope? Sasuke asked, knowing Naruto couldn't risk his pride. Oh yeah, I could flatten you, team. Naruto said, smirking. Now don't get fighting yet, we may have enough of that soon enough. Jiraiya said, walking up with Zabuza in tow. Hey kid. Zabuza said, nodding to Naruto. Hiro Sennin, Zabuza. Naruto replied. Damn it kid, stop calling me that. Jiraiya yelled, trying to bop the blonde on the head. Oh wow, so the rumors were true, the great Jiraiya the Gama Sennin is called a pervert hermit by his student. Zabuza said, laughing. Oh shut up, at least I still have my loyal fans. Jiraiya said, sulking. Now don't tease Jiraiya-sama, he is a great shinobi. Kakashi said, walking up. Says the loyal reader who gets off from said pervert's books. Naruto said, getting a round of laughs at the two. Okay, now that we are all here, what's the plan? Zabuza asked, getting everyone to look at Naruto. We will travel to Orochimaru's northern hideout to get Karen and Jugo, but let Sasuke talk with Karen, she will fangirl for him and follow us without much pressure. Naruto said, getting an irritated look from the young Uchiha. We will also get Jugo there, but that is my job, I will go in using Sage mode and talk to him, he may attack, so the rest of you will make a barrier. There will also be other curse-marked prisoners there, so we will subdue them before we get to Jugo. Naruto said, getting a round of nods. The group left for the base and had been traveling for about 4 days when Naruto, who was using his negative emotion sensing to lead them, held up a stop sign as the group landed on a beach. Okay, we will need to water walk for the rest of the way, which will take another 8 hours. Sasuke, can you hold out water walking for that long? Naruto asked the Uchiha. Yeah, but we need to stay at a walk or a light jog at the most, my concentration for holding that much chakra for that long may waver if we don't. Sasuke said, getting a nod from Naruto as the group set out. After 8 hours of walking, the group lands on a large island with semi-thick forest on it. Okay, we will attack tonight, get as much rest as possible and be ready for a bloody fight. Naruto says as they set a protective security barrier around their spot. Once the sun started to set, the group, led by a Sage mode Naruto, went to the base as they got their Naruto motion for Zabuza, Itachi, and Kakashi to blow the front part of the base away. Water style. Water dragon jutsu. Zabuza yelled after finishing his hand signs and shooting a water dragon at the front gate, which were blown inward from the force. That was followed up by a fire style. Grand fireball jutsu. From Itachi, which burned the attacking guards that came out to kill them. One guard had survived and released all of the other curse-marked prisoners before getting a kunai to the chest. The prisoners who were already in their highest curse level attacked. Kakashi, who had hung back, made a shadow clone and began the process of the lightning style. Rasengan, but kept at it, and the electric ring expanded with 4 bars in a cross pattern connecting to another small ring around the Rasengan. Lightning style. Rasen Dasuku. Kakashi yelled as he threw the electrical disc of death. The attack hit in the middle of the charging berserkers and exploded into a huge spiraling dome of electrical death. The ones caught in the attack screamed as they had millions of volts of electricity pass through their bodies. Itachi, Zabuza, and even Jiraiya looked back at Kakashi, who had fallen on his knees, said, "What, Naruto showed me the secret and I had been practicing in my spare time." Kakashi said, getting sweat drops from the others at his nonchalant answer. The rest of the prisoners, even in their curse-induced rage, stopped and looked hesitant. The others of the group who could still fight capitalized on this and began to decimate the rest. But Naruto and Sasuke, the two, had been in the trees and had waited for the prisoners to be released. Once they were out, Naruto had thrown a Hirishin kunai over them and teleported inside. Naruto led them with his Sage mode, killing any of the few guards they came across. As they neared a room with double doors, Naruto whispered to Sasuke. Okay, Karen is in that room, go in normally, but be prepared, she has a poison perfume attack and good sensor abilities. Also try non-violent negotiations first. If it comes to a fight, just toss this and I can help you tie her up. Naruto said, giving him a Hirishin kunai as Sasuke nodded. As Sasuke neared the door, he heard mumbling and opened it just enough to see a red-headed girl his age facing his way, but she was looking at some notes on the desk in front of her. Her appearance was definitely one of a preteen girl. She wore a short-sleeved belly shirt that was colored gray with a white stripe going from her shoulders to the end of her sleeves and black short shorts with some shinobi sandals. She had bottom-rimmed glasses with shoulder-length red hair, and for some reason one side was a mess while the other was straight. Sasuke opened the door fully and did a slight cough. Karen looked up and instantly blushed. "Hello there, how can I help you?" Karen said in sultry voice, taking off her glasses showing off her crimson eyes. Sasuke had a small blush, not being prepared at the level of lust the girl put out. He recompassed himself and said, "Hello, my team and I are here to offer you a deal, Karen." Sasuke said, getting Karen to put her glasses on and arch her eyebrow. "What kind of deal and who are you?" Karen said, leaning forward and putting her hands on her hips. I am Sasuke Uchiha from Konoha and we wish to offer you safe sanctum from Orochimaru. Sasuke said, getting a slight scoff from the redhead. How can Konoha keep me safe from Orochimaru if I did accept, and what do you even want me for? Karen asked. Well, a friend of mine knows that you are distant family of his and thinks that you are a very useful kunoichi and I personally like your skills. Also we have many powerful ninja and a Jinchuriki that has full control over his bijuu to protect you. Sasuke said, getting Karen to go into a thinking pose. Who is this friend? Karen asked. Naruto Uzumaki, son of Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto said, walking in. Kushina-san, you're her son? Karen asked, getting a nod from Naruto. You have blonde hair though. Karen said, looking at Naruto. My dad had blonde hair, he was Minato Namikaze. Naruto said, getting an accepting nod from the female Uzumaki. Okay, I'll do it, I'll join you, but you have to promise my safety. Karen said, getting a nod from the two. We promise, Karen, and when we make a promise, Naruto left off. We always keep it. Sasuke finished. The two gave her determined looks and began helping seal all of the documents in a storage scroll that Naruto brought along. After they finished packing, Sasuke led Karen out the front of the compound and saw the others were definitely winded but good for another fight. Naruto sent a clone to locate Jugo's cell and set up a barrier seal around it so that they can contain Jugo when they opened his cell. Once everyone was together, they went to the cell Jugo was in. Naruto stood directly in front of the door, gathering enough sage chakra for about 20 minutes of fighting. After that he would need to release his clone at their campsite. Once Naruto opened his eyes, he had yellower eyes with horizontal bar pupils and orange pigment around his eyes. He nodded and the older ninja activated the 10 by 15 foot barrier he had set up. Naruto pulled out the Raijin no En and did a cross slash to the chains and locks holding the door shut. Naruto pulled open the heavy metal door to see Jugo. He was just a little taller than Naruto and slightly more built. Jugo had messy orange hair and wore simple gray prison garb. He also had a huge ball and chain on his left ankle. Hearing the noise, Jugo turned around, showing his light brown eyes and a somber expression. Please leave me be, I don't want to hurt you, if you come any closer I will hurt you. Jugo said with a slowly increasing insane look coming across his face. No Jugo, you won't hurt me because I can help you control your urges. Naruto said, getting a shocked look from Jugo. No, only Orochimaru-sama can help your lying. Jugo yelled, grabbing his head and hunching over. No, I can teach you to control your power and you can use it for the right reasons, not mindless killing. Naruto said, taking a step forward. Jugo held on tighter. No, I will hurt you, only Orochimaru-sama can control my urges. Jugo yelled. Naruto sped forward before Jugo could notice and put his hand on his shoulder. Jugo looked up, half transformed, his one yellow eye looked into Naruto's as he said, no, Orochimaru will use your power and prolong your suffering, I can help you, Jugo. Naruto said, giving a hard, determined and confident look to the nature user. As Jugo looked into his eyes, he saw Kimimaro and slowly reverted back to his normal state. Naruto gave a reassuring nod to him as he motioned for the barrier to drop. Naruto released his clone, letting the nature chakra fade. The group and its new members settled down after another 8-hour walk back to the mainland. As they pitched camp, Naruto made a multitude of clones and sent them to keep watch. He took Jugo aside to talk to him about his urges and how to control them. After an hour, the group settled in for the night, ready for the trip to Konoha. What if Naruto unseal all the sealed bijuu? Thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.